hear myself through my headphones. Yes, man. Like, I feel real good about this right now.
Pay attention, because you are now listening to Permission to Speak Freely.
Let me set the mood right here. How you do it? Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, we gonna get right into it, y'all. And we just gonna peel the onion back layer by layer. Like I'm on that. I've been listening to the clips. Like I'm thinking about. We gonna peel the onion back layer by layer. We joined by a great man, Shaun Murphy. We gonna get into everything about him. Y'all know I retired intros a while ago. Hey, for the new listeners, we retired intros a while ago. So I'm gonna get right into it, man. With a quick question. One of the things you said that hit me very hard, because I could really relate. You said, "Don't look up to your friends and family to lock in on a dream." You know, I heard you say that, man. And one, I've been through that before in a lot of different areas of my life. We probably been through that a little bit with the podcast, but like, how did that kind of get ingrained into you?
Yeah, so I think, even I've had so many business ventures or job ventures, and they say, call your friends and family. And it's different when you're selling for somebody else, but when you pushing you, and it's tough, right? So they mean well, but sometimes I think with friends and fam, if they see you on that upward trajectory, right, it kind of reminds them of goals they squandered away, opportunities they let go or missed out on. And it may be a subconscious thing, you know what I mean? Where they not like necessarily hating, but they just like don't want to see you leave them, right? So I always tell people, whenever I start something new, I'm looking for strangers. The other thing is, people like for me, I dropped out of college. So for a lot of people that know me, that's the label they always will have. Oh, sure, he dropped out of college. Or the army dude, you know what I mean? Or I used to promote parties, the party promoter. So anything outside of that, they can't really understand, fathom, or see. Mm-hmm. And I tell people, when you have a vision, you're the first to see it, the only one to see it, only one to believe in it. So don't waste your energy and time trying to convince other people of this new thing you're in pursuit. I'll give you a real example for the listeners and viewers. So I'm a motivational speaker, author, although we get on all that. But I decided to do something different. I'm like, there's a lot of speakers. I wanted to create a platform where I could really reach people on a global level, because when I did my college professor stuff and I'm touching people in the classroom, I'm, families, friends, but I'm like, there's somebody in Africa or stationed in Uijeongbu, Korea that needs this source. I got to create a platform to be able to project all the insight and the nuggets that I want to do, right? So that's cool, and there's a lot of speakers. How do I be different? Well, all right, maybe I could tap into some, like the spoken word. I used to listen to this dude, Adam Won't Lose. He be like, yo, dear hard work, I used to hate you. You made me better. And it's him talking over like a beat. And I'm scratching my melon. I can do this. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Pull my producer dude. And he like, yo, Murph, this is all right. I see it. I get in the studio. I drop an album. Now I rap, and I'm from Brooklyn. So, shouts out to Jay. I'm like, everybody, I'm big. I got that 90s vibe. We all think we could rap. But I'm like, no, I've been creative. So I did a song, and that's when I was like, damn, this rap stuff is like, it's hard. I had to really become a student of the game. And I got my one joint out. And, it would have been easy for me to go with, just stay with the spoken word poetry. But fellas, I was just compelled to just pursue music. Now, pause. Had I gone to my friends or family and like, yo, I'm going to go into this rapping, motivational music stuff, who's going to buy that? Absolutely nobody, right? Mm-hmm. So when I say that friends and family ain't it, it's not like in a negative way. They just can't see that. But got delusional self-confidence. Like, I'm a bet on me all day because I'm going to put in 10,000 hours. I'm going to approach this thing as a student. Like, Murph got a vocal coach. Murph is studying Jay, studying Common, Will Smith, all the people I feel like I align with. How do they show up on stage? How do they go through their process? And then you got to be a professional thief. You take things that work, apply it to you, add your sauce, and now, boom, we go to market. So that's what I mean by, like, don't really subscribe to getting friends and family to buy into you. Believe whatever you want to do. Figure out who are the people you need to help you bring this vision to life. Put them to work, and then you get to work. And it's going to take time. And I'll button it up with this last thing. You got to be all right with, you got to give yourself permission to suck at something. You're not going to be good. You're trying to start this new thing that you know nothing about. So you got to be like, yo, self, it's going to take time. I gotta be all right with just stinking it up. And just keep being persistent. So long answer to a quick question, but yeah, that's what I kind of mean when I say that, don't subscribe to that friends and family to buying or whatever you're doing.
Yeah, and people need to hear that because, I mean, naturally you go to whoever the closest proximity to you and you pass your stuff to. But it's crazy when you start getting the love from the people that's outside of your proximity, and they love it more. They do more.
Yes.
Like, your friends take it for granted. The people that's not your friends, they gonna share it. They gonna comment.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Half-assed it.
Yeah. Another thing you said that, like, hit me was you said you've been studying people, like what they say on their deathbed. And I was hoping you can expound on that for the listeners.
Yeah. So, I study, right? Like, I listen to, shouts out to Tony Robbins, E.T., but I had a lot. All right. I was listening to, actually, as I'm getting into this game where I'm giving nuggets, I'm giving the game, you got to come to a point where you got to realize, like, you're not going to create nothing new, right? So I was listening to Tony Robbins. He said something. I was like, oh, that's that sauce. Now I'm reading Ways of the Superior Man. And I was like, wait, hold up.
Yeah.
I said, that's what Tony Robbins said. I was like, he got this from, and then it just dawned on me, like, everybody's getting it from somewhere. You know what I mean? So what I started doing, I started studying who they used to study. But I go Earl Nightingale. I go Bob Proctor. I go like old black and white YouTube screens. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I study them jokers. And I get like that, like Les Brown, all them dudes, and I consume their content. Because, see, I'm going to sit down for an hour, 2 hours and consume content. 9 times out of 10, the people that I'm looking to help are not going to do that. So I make it my own. So it's different, essentially. Now, back to the point of the deathbed people, because I was looking at it, think about it. There's people that spent 80 years walking this earth, 90 years walking this earth, and they on their bed, they on their last. What is their thought process as they reflect on life? Well, they say, you know what? I wish I didn't care what everybody thought about me. I wish I just was me. I wish I spent more time with my family. I wish I took more risk. And if we're smart, they got 90 years on ground. They kind of been through some stuff. We probably should tap into them. So if we listen to them, because my goal is I'm leaving it all on the field. When they drop the casket, they gonna say, hey, listen, hey, for those listening and watching, I already have mapped out my funeral. A lot of us don't do this, but I've gone to the spot, went through, oh yeah, we're gonna do the blue joint, yep, do that. And here's the runner show, and we're gonna play Frank Sinatra. He did it his way. I did it my way. I'm not leaving nothing out here. You're gonna say he left it all on the floor. You know what I'm saying? And I want us to not live with regret. Like, don't wait till you on the deathbed to now everybody studying you and your last words. No, take what they're saying and apply that now. I look at my mom, she just turned I think she touched 80. So how many hot summers I got with her? You know what I mean? I got to be intentional on going to spend time with her, right? So I can be able to say, yo, mom's lived a good one, and I was there to the photo finish. So that's what I mean by I study the people that have been here forever and their thought process on their way out.
Yeah, dude. I just went to visit my mom this weekend, man. I'm from Philly and we about to get into Brownsville and all that. We about to get into your upbringing. But
Yeah,
I'm from
yeah,
Philly and a lot happened. Like the 4th of July weekend, like people died and stuff.
yeah.
And we kind of connected a little bit. So I just had to go give my mom a hug, take her to see
Mm.
Superman and come back up to the DC area, man. Um,
Okay,
and we had similar paths, but because I grew up single mom. My dad was around, but I
check.
grew up single mom. And you grew up in Brownsville, right?
Let's go. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So hey, shout out to M.O.P. They rap
Yes.
Brownsville heavy. Shaun
And
Price. Shaun
yeah.
Price is one of the goats from Brownsville. And then for the young, the young people, one of the young up and comers, God bless his soul, Pop Smoke. Pop Smoke was Brownsville native.
Check.
And then what? Mom's from Barbados, right?
Yep.
How was that early upbringing in Brownsville?
Yeah, yeah. So Brownsville, what's wild? My man sent me a clip. One of the big YouTube guys just went out to Brownsville. I'm from Marcus Garvey, and he did it's still a zoo. I don't care what they want to try to gentrify. They not changing up Garvey. Garvey,
Yeah.
they gonna own that. I paint the picture for those that don't know. So 3 train Livonia Ave. You got East New York, Brownsville, and it was always just like the clash of the hoods, right? It was a few routes you could take. You got the gang route, but then it was the older dudes, the OGs used to play ball, and I gravitated to them. Their vice was they just drank a lot of alcohol. You know what I mean? So my mom was like, "Oh, they're all drunks, they're alcoholics." But I'm thinking, "All right, pick your poison." We just playing ball. Now, if I back up, so Mom Dukes out the gate. My pops, he never came in the hospital. He just gracefully bowed out. Ran into him a couple times in the street. And then I think the third time I seen him, I think he was like, I'm going to get you some sneakers next week. And then, he got shot that following week.
Mhm.
So never got to know him. And it's interesting. And I get to talk to young men now because I taught Old Boys Middle School and a lot of the scholars had similar stories, no father figure. And, they would act out, use that as a crutch. And I just I wouldn't let them, you know what I mean? And I know for me, I had to grow. And through music, through poetry, I started to talk about that. I actually just dropped the song in June, Letter to Dad.
Mhm.
And I had never really spoke on it in years. And I was at my mom's crib in Queens, and then it was just, I had a beat I was working on for mental health, and it just came. And I just, you know what I'm saying? Like the music has now been therapy for me. And
Yeah.
I like shouts out to Brene Brown. She talks about vulnerability being a superpower. And a dude like me from the hood, like you couldn't do that. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Your dudes, if you talk that, alfalfa buckwheat stuff, they think you soft. Shorties thinking you weak. Who you go to? You
Yeah.
just keep it inside. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
hopefully it don't just like erupt.
I got
And
a question for you about
yeah,
letter to dad.
yeah.
On there, you said I can't help but wonder who left you,
Mm.
right? And
Mm-hmm.
and that joint it hit, man.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's talking about passing down trauma,
Mm.
and it takes growth and maturity to even think about that. When we
Right.
was young, like so when I was young, we ain't live with our dad, and I had a couple little kind of like quick moments with him.
Mhm.
Let me just say moments, right? And I love my dad. He's in my life now and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But we had some moments where he wanted to come fight me before, like all types of stuff, right? But it took me to like join the Navy and have a friend of mine who was dealing with custody issues to
Mhm.
make me think like, what if it was a different version of the story than the story that I knew forever? So when I
Mm.
listen to Letter to Dad, it's two things I think about. You already said one about moms in the hospital.
Mhm.
It's another thing I think about. But the first thing I want to ask you is, was that when you were writing that song? Was that you growing in real time as you was reflecting on those lyrics?
Yeah, yeah. So, man, that's a great question. I remember I'm at my mom's crib, and it's funny. I just got to be around my mom. We wasn't even talking. She in another room, but like I know she's there, and I was just channeling energy. And a lot of times you gotta forgive in order to love. You know what I'm saying? And when I think about my pops, like, yeah, I could have, dang, I wish he was around.
Right,
He robbed me of this. But then I'm like, I said, self, what was he going through?
right,
You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know the story. So I'm just jumping to conclusions, and we're not doing that because now we had elevated thinking. And of course, it took time. Like I said, I never even talked about this, let alone thought about it.
Yeah, and then
But
you
what
was
happened
6.
was,
You was 6
say
when
again?
for
I was
perspective for
6.
the listeners. You was 6, so you was
Yeah, I was
young.
6.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I had no point of reference, but it was that elephant in the room because one, I started to use it as a crutch. My pops ain't here. I'm gonna act out. My mom's wasn't really having it. She from Barbados, strict mom Dukes. But I didn't even want to be a father because I was just like, yo, I don't even know what that looks like. You know what I'm saying? Like you bringing a kid in, and then I was scared. So I felt like it had me like paralyzed almost. So for me, I just glorified having my BlackBerry, my backpack, just traveling. I ain't trying to have no kids. You know what I mean? But the world works mysteriously. And when wifey came in the picture and she wanted like 3 kids, I'm like, bro, I don't want none. You want 3? What we gonna do with this?
Yeah.
I'll tell you my mindset, and this for aspiring dads, new dads, and even seasoned dads. I said to myself, dang, you know what? How do you become a dope dad if you've never seen a dope dad? And I thought to myself, I said, you know what? I'm just gonna dream what I wish I had and 10x that. You know what I'm saying? So that was my approach as opposed to, remember in life, we get these traumatic things happen. They're gonna happen. What we have to do is identify what's the lesson we gotta learn? What's the empowering thing we gotta take out of this traumatic experience? And for me, I had to extract that. You know what? I am going to be a dad. I'm going to be an amazing dad, and I'm going to raise amazing kids. And my thinking is going to be, now I'm thinking high level. Damn, all right, what do I want them to look like at 18? CIA operative, multiple languages, physically fit, able to communicate, negotiate, all the things. Now I'm going to reverse engineer this while they're in the womb and get them there. So that was my thinking going into fatherhood. You know what I'm saying? And ex-wifey, I'm locked in, bro. Like I'm at everything. Fortunately for me, for my daughter, I was able to be the stay-at-home dad. And, growing up in the hood, like, stay-at-home dad, that was never like glorified. You know what I'm saying? But for us, we do what works for our household. And now I'm back at that same role. Obviously, I see my kids, they everywhere they need to be. I'm Army. We did 30 minutes prior. I'm doing a little strip mat where you need to be, who I need to talk to. Like they got all the things, and it's a beautiful thing. So now I'm able to give them, I don't even give them everything they want. They got everything they need and sprinkles what they want. Now, even as a dad, one of the things I try to do, I know we can't do it, not necessarily simulate growing up in the hood, but just being grounded in gratitude. You know what I'm saying? I really tell them about being gratitude because me growing up in the hood, I don't know, I think I was blessed with this. I never like spazzed out. My mom say, we can't afford this. All right, cool. I'm with these sneakers till there's a hole at the bottom. Then when there's a hole, I'm gonna just crunch my feet up and keep it pushing. My mom's never had to worry about me. You know what I'm saying? I've had some people I've mentored, single moms, and would let the lights go out to get Jordans. Like, boo, what we doing? Nah. You know what I mean?
Facts. That's facts.
It blows my mind. Like, I wouldn't even, that's not even a thought. The lights go out? Huh?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But my kids now, they're fortunate, but I do gratitude a lot, man. Gratitude. I know I may have deviated from the question, so I'll pause so you can tap back in.
Well, who was your Uncle Cicero, and what impact did Uncle Cicero have on you? Was Uncle Cicero like a father figure?
Well, you did some homework, boy. So,
oh yeah.
So, what's interesting? My pop side of the family is such a mystery. So I had my aunt, which is his sister, and her husband. And I remember when there was one instance, I used to go to every Christmas and just break bread, because that's the one thing that, we had connected me to that side of the family.
Yeah.
And one day she was rattling off names. She's like, oh, so-and-so, so-and-so, so-and-so. But like her husband, Uncle E, was like, he don't got no other brothers and sisters. It's just Shaun. And I was still relatively young, so I ain't really was able to unpack that. So my father's brother, Cicero Murphy, first African American to be inducted into the Billiards Hall of Fame. So I had done my research on that. I got a book of his. I just dived into. I stumbled onto. So I'm still like exploring. I ain't go full throttle exploration, but I've known enough about it to include that in the song.
Okay. Now,
Mhm.
and so you said they never like your father's your father's murder is still a mystery, right?
Oh yeah. Because the week before that, his brother was killed,
Oh man.
Mm.
and
Now,
that's all I know about it.
yeah, that's crazy. And now
Yeah,
you gotta now I got a question for
yeah.
you, right? Is it you got a big brother, right? You got a brother?
No, so who I call my big bro is actually a Marine, KC. So I only have my younger sister. She's about 4 years younger than me.
So in your book, right? In
Mhm.
the thank yous in your book, you talking to like a brother and you said they made a promise to you in your mom's crib, right? Is that
Yeah.
something that's too personal for you to share? Like what was
No,
that
no, no, no.
promise?
And I super appreciate. 'Cause I'm a researcher too, so I appreciate. So backstory: I'm in the military. I was still. So I dropped out of college after 2 years, and I knew I couldn't go back to the hood. That wasn't an option.
Yeah.
So layup for my recruit. I went in, where we going? And I was in the Army. And my first duty station, I'm in Fort Leonard, Missouri. And I'm a ball player, so I'm in the gym talking cash money. You know what I'm saying? I'm dropping these boys off. And this big fella's in there, Marine cat. So we go at it. And I don't know what it is, fellas, but he took me under the wing.
Yeah.
He was a little older than me. He was high ranked. And I remember, I think I was in New York. He's from DC. And somehow he met me in New York, and I was in the hood, and he was in my mom's crib. And my mom's was just, I talked about him. He said, yo, I just appreciate you looking out for my son. He said, hey, Mom Dukes, I got him. He's good. And
Mm,
so when I referenced that promise, that's what he said from the jump. He said, I got you. You know what I'm saying? Um, and
yeah.
I've always appreciated that. And fast forward, I've helped a lot of people. I don't talk about it. I just, one of my moms has a giving spirit. But like KC was a dude that used to do for me. I didn't even remember. I'm from the hood. We from survival. So you talking about somebody that's helping you out, don't want nothing. You like,
Yeah.
you all right? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I've adopted that. You know what I mean? So I help people and I tell them, you don't know what I was doing at the chapter 20 in my life. Somebody did this for me. You know what I mean? So like for me to pay it forward, that's light work. And I often reference the book, The Go Giver. You got to give. You lead with giving. There's 6 laws of stratospheric success. The last one is the law of receptivity, where you allow yourself to receive on the back end, but you
Mm-hmm.
lead with giving. And I've just adopted that. That's my way of life. I don't give to get. I just give. You know what I mean? Because that's just what's happened to me over the years. I remember my mom's, we had about $100 to last for a month. And we'd be walking through the hood and vagrant dude, hungry. My mom's going to Chinese spot, 4 wings, French fry, $2.50 at that time, and feed this brother. You know what I'm saying? I used to watch her do that. I'm like, I know we ain't got no money, and we feeding folks. But my
Yeah.
mom's had a beautiful heart, and that's something that's just stuck with me as I've grown.
Yeah, you talk about your big brother, man. And what I realize about some of them OGs in the military is they like to carry the legacy on. They like that.
Mm,
Like
Mhm.
right
mhm.
now, it's a couple of the OGs that's been kind of reaching out to me. And I'm like gassed by it. Like, yo, what you want? You know what I mean? But a lot of them, like, we young, like, and we grew up using the hip hop. I was in the hip hop. It was always like burn the boats.
Right,
Like,
right.
yo, it is what it is. Even
Yeah.
for like so for them to have that spirit of like legacy, like, no, I'm gonna pass this on. So you could I just wanna watch you do good. It's just
Yeah.
crazy to me. Like, and
Yeah.
it's really eye-opening. And I know you've been through that too, Damon. Like somebody just grab you and put you under the wing type. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Yeah, man. And hey, I tell you what, it is eye opening, man. It's eye
Yeah.
opening when it happens. But at the same time, man, you appreciate it too, though, man. You like, what the hell going on right now,
Yeah.
man? Like, what's going on? But at the same time, man, like you need that too, though, right? We always
Mhm.
get to a certain level, man, and we like, man, you know what? That what he just said right there got me over this little period in time. You know, got
Right.
me over that hump, got me here, got me there, man. So big shots to all the big bros out there, man. That's
All the
looking
big
out for people
bros.
that's giving back, man. That's one of my things, man, right now. What I think about is like, I'm here now, man. I've been in for a minute. I'm giving back now. You know what I mean? It's time to give back. So I like that, man. That's
No
stuff.
doubt.
Yeah. Hey, Shaun. So you said you had you got a sister, and you
Yeah.
called her your doubter and your cheerleader. And I know and we're gonna get into like, the 6 people that you need in your life and all that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you called her your doubter and your cheerleader. And I wrote 2 words. I said, that's fair. Right? That's fair. That's the most fair anybody could be.
Yeah.
And I guess like having her just in your life is super. And I think about it because I'm like, all right, so this the person that's because I need negative reinforcement, right? I need that. That's how I do good. So now you got this
Fair.
person that's giving you the negative reinforcement, but then you got this person that's at the finish line with the lemonade or the water cheering
Yeah.
you on. And that's dope.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
dope.
Listen, it's fun. So she's younger than me. Like I said, I went to college, and I remember bringing her up to college. Like, yo, sis, this is college life. You know what I'm saying? You gonna come up here. I know you gonna end up, indulging in some alcoholic joints. So amaretto sour, Sex on the Beach, 2 max. You know what I mean? And
Right,
then I dropped out going to military. She gets her bachelor's. She gets her master's. I'm like, dang. So now she inspiring me. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So it's been a beautiful thing to watch her grow. She's like super honest. You know what I mean? Like she reckless honest with it. But it's motivated me, and I think having that balance. I want them dudes. I come in the room and be like, telling you what we about to do. She be like, shut your behind up. This is this was missing. And I'm like, really? Like, she not going along with nothing, no matter how, how, dude, we just walk in with that
Yeah.
presence. Like, nah, this is
Yeah.
it. She like,
it's
no, it's not.
I
You
love
know,
that. I
so-
love that already.
Yeah, she one of the few people that shuts me down when I start getting it. Well, sis, I've been reading and shit. Don't go Mr. Motivation on me. Stop.
Yeah.
That's my
Hey,
girl.
and you talked about, man, I saw you talk, and a lot of people know. I don't know how, like, how it was in Mississippi, David, but growing up in like up north in the city, our teachers would make fun of us. You know what I mean? Like they would clown us. I had a teacher. So one time, my mom listened to every episode, Shaun. One time, my mom come to the school and she gripped me up in front of the class. It's embarrassing, right? I don't think no parent. Hey, mom, I don't think no parent should ever do this to their kids, man. But she did that. She got me right. She gripped me up, straightened me out. And my teacher used to clown me about it in front of the class. Like, hey, you better shut up before I have your mom come in and grip you up again. And you know how like shameful that like puts a little 12, 13-year-old. But and I know you had a teacher that used to clown you too, right?
Yeah, so it was wild because I think I was in 3rd, 4th grade time. So I had my I did a piece on this called trauma education. So I had protruding ears, right? And dudes have jokes. I had jokes. I was pretty slick with the mouth. But like my teachers and would get on me. My one specific one. And then it would just like catch on, right? So I'm like, dang. And it just did something to me. And I go tell my mom's. Fast forward, I don't even know how we did it. Mom's gets this cosmetic surgery done for my ears to like pull them back, right? Now, that was worse because now I got like 14 weeks of this big old white bandage on my head. And I had perfect attendance too, right? So I'm like, dang. And now what it did though, I could relate to like Eminem and 8 Mile when he said, I tell the people something, they ain't heard about me. Because I would like clown myself. So now you ain't got nothing else to clown. Now I'm about to go in. You from Philly, we're gonna look at your feet. We're gonna come all the way up. I'm gonna pick somewhere I'm going. Right?
Full body
And
scan. Then we gonna talk about your mom.
Yeah. Bro, I feel like the pain I was dealing with, it's called like that, low-key bullying from the teacher. I just channeled that and I was reckless, bro. I mean, people like, yo, leave that dude alone. Because I'm just with the mouth and I was witty and I would read and I would take what I learned and then come for you. I remember one time I'm in the hood, I called this dude a nincompoop. And he ain't know what it meant. And everybody laughing. He wanted to fight me, kill me. And, so that was my defense mechanism. And it started from that, you know what I'm saying? So like, Man, now fast forward, I end up in education, and because they was trying to put me in special ed, I got skipped kindergarten to second grade. So I just understand how they trying to put me in special ed, but they're trying to label me behavior. Back in the day, special ed was a black hole. Man, my mom's came up there with her head wrapped. She said, "Over my dead body, my son ain't gonna know they ain't on special ed." And now I get in the classroom as a special ed teacher, and fellas, I was on some like, yo, you may have a learning disability, but we gonna put in this work. I don't want to hear because scholars were, I guess they might have been trained to use it as a crutch, but I didn't. They had to be accountable. I said, I'm being here in these trenches with you. We about to grow 3 levels in reading this school year. And I made, I ain't gonna say I just created a comfortable environment. So I called my squad the Rock Boys. So I would walk into class, Rock Boys, we out, and my class would roll out. And then it was funny because, it had a negative stigma towards it, being a special ed student. And for however I did it, I made it cool. So I had scholars like, yo, Mr. Murray, I need extra help too. And they weren't special ed kids, you know what I mean? So we created this culture of making education cool. And that's one of my I don't like to say because it's not about me, but I was intentional on creating that type of atmosphere for my scholars to like not have to feel like, damn, I got to lead the class. Everybody looking at me. No, you're a rock boy. We out. You know what I mean? You with me. So that's how I spun that.
Yeah, I mean, and it's a fight, right? Because you're going to school to be a positive influence amongst kids that's growing up inspired by hustlers, right? We've been inspired by hustlers, people that we see in the street getting money, wearing all the new fresh Jordans and the polo. Back in the day, the polo shirts, crispy iron. You know what I mean?
Crispy.
So and I know that was something that inspired you early on, was the hustlers that was out in the street. And of course, Lifestyles of the Rich and Famous, Robert Leach and all that stuff. So all that stuff. I got a question for you though, man.
Yeah.
What part of PA did you live in? You lived in PA for a little bit, right?
Yeah, so I was about an hour 20 out of Philly. So Lancaster, I lived in Lidditz, Pennsylvania. But Lancaster is the one that everybody would know of.
Yeah, by the Amish people.
By the Amish, your horse and buggies all day.
Milk. They churn the milk out there. But a lot of people from like New York stayed in Lancaster for a little bit. I always hear about people from New York.
It's a transient spot. Amtrak pulls you up there, and there's different opportunities. I mean, the last 10 years, grown, huge. Yeah. Like they have a huge. So here's a fun fact, listeners and viewers. So like when artists will go to New York to get ready to go on tour, but as you could imagine, New York's extortion. So there's this thing called Rock Lidditz in Lidditz, Pennsylvania. Huge black boxes. So like, for example, Beyonce will pull up to Lidditz. They got a private airport there. They'll fly in and then, black card them over. And they would do their whole show in this black box. I think the Claire Brothers, I forget the name of the company, but they've got all the decoration, the flying this, flying that. Then it breaks down and you just see like 15, 20 tractor trailers rolling out to the tour. So you'll see, we had Usher there, Bieber, all of them, Taylor Swift. One of my girls, she knew a pilot, and the call sign was like TS, and then Taylor Swift just landed. So that's a fun fact. A lot of artists go there to start their tours, but that's where they go set up all the theatrics and stuff.
So yeah, man, we know you did a little bit of time in the military, man. I'm trying to find out, like, the question is, how did that shape your mindset, man, of being a motivational speaker?
So I was 8 years Army, man. Wow. Let me think. A lot of things.
Did you always wanted to be a motivational speaker? Always?
No.
Yeah.
I mean, when I came to the military, my mom's to tell you I needed discipline. So, well, I mean, it's funny. So I think when I got in basic training, we could start there. In basic training, I might have had like my first challenge. So 2 things. I get there. I mean, mind you, I lived through like shootouts and craziness in the hood. But when I got on that bus, out off the plane bus, St. Louis down to Missouri or Fort Leonard, we all chilling, all new recruits, and we pull onto base. that 10-minute drive, and then when them drill songs came on, I was shitting bricks. Like, because you just didn't know. These jokers in there screaming at you. You don't know what to do. They just create this chaotic environment where you forget how to think. And I think it's on purpose. That was like one thing I remember. I won't forget that feeling. Then I think 3 days in, I just happened to draw the straw. They had me as the third squad leader. And we had a guy, Silvera. He's the platoon guy. So he's in charge of all the privates, and he reports to the drill sergeants. But he was this arrogant guy from California. So day 3, they had drill sergeant like, Silvera, that's drill sergeant. You're fired. I'm like, oh, shit. We firing motherfuckers at day 6? You know what I'm saying? Bro, next thing he says, Private Murphy, yes, drill sergeant, front and center. You are now my platoon guy. I'm thinking, I ain't never led nothing in life before. You put me in front of 40 people? So I'm like, shitting bricks again, right? I'm like, damn, but I'm from Brooklyn. So we got to figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That was my mindset. Like, I almost had to grow up instantaneously. So now I'm like, all right, well, if I'm here, I got to graduate in front of the class. So I remember I struggled with shooting. I had never shot before. And I'm at the range stinking it up. And Drill Sergeant Linkenfelder, he came up to me soft-spoken. He said, hey, Private, I can't have a platoon guy that can't shoot. Get your shit together. Walks off. That's all I needed to hear. When everybody writing letters and phoning home, I'm in the bay practicing the dime washer method. I got the dime on the nozzle. I'm practicing that thing because I can't get fired.
Yeah.
That was my first, where I struggled and had to push through something. But I had a burning desire to graduate at the front of the class. I remember I'm in that joint struggling. My feet hurting. I remember my man Collier. Don't ask me how I remember all these people's names. Collier had a foot issue with his shins. He go to sick call. We in week 3. Bro, they send this dude back to day 0 at the beginning. I got about icy hot. I put that thing on like a massage oil. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to sick call. Right?
Yeah.
So that was the first time, we play sports and stuff, but this is like a different dig deep. Like you going into this 20-mile ruck hurt, but you got to finish it. You know what I'm saying? And I'll tell you this. I know I probably didn't even touch your answer yet, but it's all part of the story. I think I when I think about the name Mr. Motivation, I remember they put me in A group, and this drill sergeant, A group in running, so that's the fast group. He be, all right, privates, and he just take off. You got to chase this dude down. We running 3, 4, 5 miles. And he'd be like, all right, when we get to the water tower, we all set. Cool. Now I'm fixated on giving you all I got till I get to this water tower. Brothers, he get to the damn water tower, and he take off. I'm like, you got to be shitting me. So now I'm ready to quit. I'm like, all right, I'm all set. But I tell you what, he hit that cadence, motivated rock. And you just dig deep. And you find that you will your way to keep going. And fellas, that's what I wanted to be for people. I wanted to be that cadence in their ear, whether it's my speeches, my poems, or my music, that when you feel like quitting, when you feel like giving up, that thing, something just hits you, and then you're like, damn, I could dig deep. So that's where, when I think of the foundation of Mr. Motivation, that cadence, I want to be that cadence for the people. And that all started from my basics training experience. But I'll fast forward. So all this is shaping mindset, right? It's part of the journey. But I'm at my first duty station. I got my boy, Buddy Lee. He's from Texas. Shout out to my Texas boys. And we used to play ball, my drinking buddy. And one time, Buddy Lee said, hey, Murph, listen. We was E3s, right? E3, E4 maybe. He said, I'm going to the board. I'm going to get my E4P, specialist, promotable. I'm going to get E5, and I'm going for E5P. Then I'm going to Hawaii. And I'm thinking, buddy, shut up. Let's go play ball. What you talking about? You talking crazy. Because I was of the mindset of, I get paid whether I work hard or not. So why do I need to work hard? You know what I'm saying? This is my mindset as a young E2, E3.
Yeah.
Fellas, I watched Buddy Lee do everything he said he was going to do. And now, listen, this is not from a place of, hey, Buddy Lee's come see me perform in Dallas. I got a song where I shout him out. Buddy Lee pushed me to excel. Like, I've given him his flowers. But I said to myself, if Buddy Lee could do it, I know I could do it. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is Buddy Lee. I could.
Right.
And that hit the switch. That hit the switch because when you, remember, it could be two things. You could see somebody next to you climbing and you could try to pull them down, or you could climb with them. You know what I'm saying? And that was my first, I think, exposure to like seeing someone like, and he did this. I don't know if he was planning this, but the way he told me, it looked like it was overnight.
Yeah.
And I was just like, yo, Self, you got to get yourself together. So now, paired with my big bro, I was going to get out. And I said, I'm going to get out, big bro. He said, do what? I said, go to college. He said, sit your behind down. College free here. You ain't going. You're going to go realist. You're going to iron your camis, and you're going to take your behind to the board. And ain't nobody really ever talked to me like that before. You know what I'm saying? This is real big bro-ish. Bro, I followed the blueprint. I watched Buddy Lee, listen to Big Bro, and those two dudes changed the trajectory of my life. I think in like 2 to 3.5 years, I made these 6 promotable. Like once I locked in, I figured it out. You know what I'm saying? And when I went through that experience, you talk about mindset shift. You know what I'm saying? That's where it started. And I would add in when I got into education many years later, just seeing my special ed scholars go from 6th grader reading on 3rd grade reading level to grow 8 levels in 1 year. Bro, I learned so much from them boys. And this is quote unquote special ed scholars, sense of possibility. And I've applied that to every aspect of my life ever since. So there's a few things along the journey that has helped shape my mindset.
Why'd you get out?
That's a good question. You know I'm a storyteller. I don't know if y'all can tell.
Oh, yeah, I love it. I love it.
I lived a few lives. So now, while in active duty, I remember he said, why did I get out? Let me write that down so I come back to that. Because I be telling stories that have stories within stories. Why did I get out? All right, so I'm in Korea. I left Missouri, transition. I realized I think it was a hood in Texas, went to Korea. And something was just pulling me back to Missouri. And people are like, Missouri is lost in the woods. I love Missouri. It's a melting pot. All the engineers, MPs, you got to go through there with the sergeant, E6, E7. So I get back to Leonardwood. And in Leonardwood, the dynamic, the Leonardwood hood, St. Robert, Rolla, ain't really rock with dudes on post. You know, Murph was kind of that dude that like fit in everywhere. I'd be in the hood, play ball. So I was like, yo, I gotta, something moved me to get a second job. So now I'm night audit at the hotel. I'm E6 at this time, right? Night audit at night. And everything I made from night audit work, I would put towards my barbecue on the weekends. So I got my homegirls pulling up. We some greens, mac and cheese. I know burgers and dogs. We cooking, right? And I invite everybody. So it became like this hub. So I think it's I-44. I think it's come from St. Louis all the way through Oklahoma. I didn't know that was a route for concerts when artists go on tour. Fellas, I get a call, J.C. Houseman, Juvenile's road manager. For those who know, back that thing up, go YouTube him, Hot Boys. And he's like, hey, this is J.C. Houseman, and we on tour. We want to make a stop in St. Robert. We heard we got to go through Murph to throw an after party. I look at the phone. I'm like, Juvenile? You know what I'm saying? Like, wait, what?
That's
so
wild.
I play along. I'm like, yeah. What you want to do? Give me the dates. I don't know what he's talking about, but what I didn't ask him was how he got my number. But anyway, fast forward, I ain't even had no money for this, but I knew somebody that did. I threw a picture to him, we do the party. So that started out me as the promoter. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So now I get connected with Young Buck. We bring D4L. So I'm like a, young Diddy back in the day.
Yeah.
I just ain't had no money. I had the social capital.
And
I was really good with putting events together, logistics and stuff. I know. No Diddy.
You gotta be careful. You gotta be careful.
Got to be more careful. Listen, that's my G. So I was that dude, right? And then I get to this place where, so I'm E6P, I'm in a E7 slot running a HR headquarters, S1. We call it S1.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, yo, all right, I'm here 8 years. Do I stay another year and see if I make E7? Then I said, you know what? They replacing my job with civilians anyway. I could just get out and be the civilian and run the shop. So when I sit and reflect on this, fella, because usually I'm 3-5 steps ahead of the game, I was really arrogant because I thought that my social capital was enough to get me into this slot. Now, I ain't had no associates. I had no degree. The only degree I had was like deodorant. And I ain't paid no attention to the ACAP. I kind of just took it a days off, and then I get out. And that money, whatever money I had, went quick. And I got into this place. When I write my book about my life, this is the blue funk. This is when, I don't know where the next meal, next check, next nothing's coming from. I'm like floating. I had some good friends though. You know what I mean? My dudes, I live up the street. I could go cool with them. But I think I was substitute teaching. And then it's that like you got that sense of pride in the uniform. I no longer have that. Staff so I'm no longer that. It's unemployed Shaun, broke Shaun. And I couldn't really be in the streets because they know me as the promoter, Murph. And I'm like, I ain't got no money. So I stayed in the crib, probably a month or two. I talked to a few people, and I'm just in my head figuring it out. And I'm like, damn, their job's trying to offer me $12 an hour. I'm like, what am I supposed to do with that? So I said to myself, I'd rather struggle in New York. Like, I can make it in New York. So I load up the U-Haul, and my man's in them. I didn't even call them. I had the heart to tell them I was leaving. I just rode out. I didn't answer my phone till I got to Wheeling, West Virginia. And Omega called me, and I said, yeah, bro, I had to go. He said, Murph, you could have stayed here. We got you. And I'm going to New York. I'm going to figure it out. And shouts out to Mom Dukes and my sister. They held me down till I got, on my feet. So I think that all ties into why I got out. I had an idea to go into to become me as a civilian. It just didn't work out. And that led me back home, and I ended up working at NYU. And I was a glorified mailroom clerk. But here's a lesson for listeners and viewers. I went into that role, and I looked at, literally, so my NYU accounts payable, we pay everybody from the janitor to Spike Lee. We cut the checks. So I get in there. The average person is going to just say, all right, I'll just come in, stamp the mail, and send it out. But I went over to all of the account payable specialists and said, hey, what happens when what I send out of the mailroom comes to you? Okay, so I'm understanding the process. Then I'm learning, okay, so what do we do here? We pay the PO. So then it's a check. So somebody needs this money. Oh, our job's important. I'm not just a mail person. Somebody's waiting for this check. This is important. So when I took the job, like you see the invoices piled up, I said, no, it's not going to happen. So I revamped the system. And this is like within 3 months. And then I just changed the way things go. Remember, it's about people, products, and processes. I changed the process to make it more fluid. And I remember they said, you could just show up in whatever. Nah. Suited and booted. If Murph, you ain't got to I'm not just for this job. I'm just for the next thing. You know what I mean? Because remember, people always watching you. So anything that got my last name on it, I got to show up and show out. You know what I mean? And I just take pride in anything I commit to. And I would encourage you to do that. I don't care if it's sweeping, mopping. I just did a talk, at a high school. I said, listen, I'll go to McDonald's tomorrow. I'll start off as a sweeper. I'll be managing 3 months, 6 tops, because I'm going to come and I'm going to learn everybody's job. I'm going to help them. I'm going to stay late, come early, figure out, and then I'm going to be leading all of them. And the source is really easy. It's just, you just got to commit to doing the work. So I did that for a while. Then I got an opportunity to go overseas. I don't know if you probably was going to get to this. And I worked in Iraq for a year through KBR on a postal mission. And that was interesting to sign up to go out there to get bombs sent your way and have no weapons.
Yeah, I know a couple dudes that like they was getting a bag though. Like they was
Yeah,
like
yeah,
they was
yeah,
getting
yeah,
that
yeah,
money.
yeah.
Like so,
Bag.
so they was good with it.
Yeah, those checks come in. The only thing is, I remember when you live in the Chews and you could wake up the next morning and that 5 chews down, there's a crate in the ground, so.
Yeah.
And the other dudes were like, their cell phones, and they would triangulate the call, and then so it was scary. But even out there, man, it just was like, I learned still gratitude. We make a lot of money, but I still wasn't too big to throw out trash. You know what I'm saying? I just like every experience, y'all, is about what are you gonna learn from it? What's the nugget? What's the lesson in this thing? Good, bad, or indifferent. And then now before I left for to go do this job, I meet this shorty, and now I had no like plans to really getting wifed up, but it got there. But more than that, she was involved in the education, and I was just so blown away by her level of commitment to education, through Teach for America. And I didn't think, me, like TFA used to hire or recruit recent college grads from like Harvard, Princeton, Yale. I'm like, I don't even got this. I'm barely making it. At this time, I had my associates, but I needed to finish a couple classes to have my bachelor's. But in order to be considered to do TFA, you had to be conferred with your bachelor's. So now I'm over in Iraq. I was convinced. I mean, she was going to recital. She was just like committed to the scholar. And I was like, yo, I see an opportunity to be the teacher or educator I never had. So that motivated me. Yeah, I'm leaving buku bucks on the table, but how many lives would I be able to impact going this route? And that's what drove me. And fast forward, I get accepted to TFA. Her and I, it didn't necessarily work out. Definitely cool to do that. I owe her my journey to education, and I ended up in Delaware. And I remember being on the bus getting into Delaware. It says a place to be someone, Wilmington, Delaware. And I told the jokers in the car with me, I said, listen, I'm about to be the face of Teach for America this year. As soon as I get here, I'm about to dominate. And it's just something about, I tell people, listeners and viewers, listen, any room you walk in, you got to understand, you got to believe this. That room just got better as soon as you step foot in there. You know what I'm saying? You got to walk with that delusional confidence, man. And a lot of us struggle with, do I belong in this room? And you look at the title of the person in front of you, but, all that degree stuff, you got a associates in abandonment. You got a bachelor's in being broke. You've been through some stuff, a PhD in pain. You got the source because you went through the experience. So never discredit yourself. You know what I'm saying? All that stuff matters. And you just got to be able to package it and speak smartly about it. But that's how I got into education through Teach for America. I'll pause there.
Is it Teach for America that got you to stand next to Michelle Obama? Got you next to Mish, man.
Yeah, listen, and that's funny. That's my picture in the back of me, Miss Michelle Obama, Jill Biden. So, yeah. So I'm in the classroom 3 months, and the news cameras come in, and they wanted to do a story on the veteran that went back into education to continue serving. And I rode that wave because we were the first ones in Delaware. So, the mayor, they all invested. So I was, wanted to be vocal and just represent the core members. So I'm at a lot of the tables. And 2 years go by, and they do they kind of poll you, what are you going to do next? And I just suggested, we should be recruiting veterans to come in the classroom and ask them to continue serving. Now, historically, Troops to Teacher is the org that did that pipeline. But TFA is a monster. That's a machine. And I just knew if that machine got behind that mission, it was gonna be fireworks. So year 3, I'm still in the classroom. I get an email or call asking me if I'd be interested in this Veterans Initiative role. And I'm like, absolutely. So I take a 20-page PowerPoint, and it becomes You Serve for America, Now Teach for America. Shouts out to Grant Besser. He was in charge of leading emerging markets through TFA. So he was the visionary behind it. I just implemented everything. And we got. I hit the ground running. So now I'm like responsible for kind of changing the face of TFA because we only known as recent college grads, career changes. But now we about to bring veterans as a pipeline into education. And I think 6 months in, maybe been a year, I get a call from, I forget Buddy's name, Michelle Obama's speechwriter. And he's like, hey, Shaun, listen, your name came across the First Lady's desk and we want to invite you. I said, wait. First Lady who? Michelle?
Right.
I'm like, wait, slow down. You start over, So he was legit. That guy, we had to get all my clearances and stuff, but got invited. So what she was doing was recognizing like leaders that were just doing a lot of dope stuff specific for veterans and leadership. And, our initiative got wrapped up in that. So that was really memorable moment.
Yeah, I mean, it gotta feel good to come from where you come from, right? Where we come from, to be recognized by, the Michelle Obama, the First Lady. A question about that, from college dropout to college professor. But you taught middle school, high school, and college.
Correct.
What was the most challenging?
Yeah, so middle school, I always say, is like a 401k. You're going to pour into them jokers, but you're not necessarily going to see a result of what you poured in unless you stay connected 10, 15 years down the line.
Yeah.
They were probably the most challenging. I remember, listen, it's funny. So I'm one of those, it was a charter school, so I might come in, I'm a special ed teacher, by title, but classroom management was my strength. So I come in and the principal like, hey, Murph, I need you in science today. I need you in math tomorrow. So one time I'm teaching math and I didn't really prepare. I was like, I don't really know how this thing, I'll figure it out. Error. Let me tell you, that was the one time and I've never showed up for anything like that again. I'm up there on the board. I'm doing whatever I thought I was doing. I tried to breeze by it. Hey, Mr. Murph, I'm not understanding how you got that. I'm thinking, buddy. Yo.
Me either. That was the worst. Me either. I don't know how I got that.
Yo, that was the worst. I just wanted to run and hide, but
man.
I learned so much from them, man. And here's the thing. I remember coming in being, still militant, and I remember I'm like, damn, they not really, responding. So that was my first year. November hits, Thanksgiving break, and I had to reflect. I'm like, yo, this is wild. But I said, you know what? All these boys don't have no father figure, majority. Hit insert stranger trying to bark things. They don't even have that type of voice. Yeah. I got to change my approach. And I had to come in leading more of my story, being from the hood, fatherless home, leaving buku bucks on the table to come impact lives for $32,500 a year. Like really tell the story. And then they were just like, damn, Mr. Murphy, why you left all that money to come teach here? Yeah. Because, and then I tell my story and what I didn't have and what I hope to bring to the table here. And bro, let me tell you, what a change, right? What a change. When you lead with your why, especially in that space, the scholars can wrap their head around it. Now, we go to high school, they're a little too cool for school, know everything. So they kind of, a little easier. College is interesting. I like college, I think the best because when you give them nuggets, systems, strategies, they can implement it tomorrow. I'll give you an example. I was talking about this the other day. I used to invest in real estate. So, I've done my, property management, manage my properties. So one of my scholars come in, she said, Professor, they're trying to evict me, this, and that. She's crying. I said, listen, so you go to court when? Tomorrow? All right, go home, take pictures, go back in your mind, see if you got a journal, document this, and just present this. Next day, go by, she calls me the next day. She's like, Professor, I did everything you said. You was right. The judge did this. I'm not getting evicted. I'm like, yo, how dope was that? You know what I mean? Because she didn't have a lawyer or no one that in her sphere of influence had experience with thing X. But, I did. And even as an educator, we're so much more. We're so much more, man. You may be the therapist today, the social worker tomorrow. You may be the counselor. You might you got the financial advisor. Not that I give some financial advice, I just suggest. But you're a lot of things. And for me, I'm a lifelong learner. So I love it. I come out like, tell me what you got. What you got. And I can connect with because I probably read something or I've experienced this thing. So I think just education in general. And now the beautiful thing about my middle schoolers, now I'm still connected with a handful of them. Like you go from teacher scholar to mentor mentee to like big bro, little bro.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And one of my favorite things I told my dudes, because they always wanted to know where I was traveling to and wanted to hang out with me. I said, listen, when y'all turn 21, we outside. And Jay Perk and Zeb, I took them to Atlantic City. And we spared no expenses. I had my videographer with me. We had a ball. And, that was just such a memorable moment. You know what I mean? To like go from, I remember the first day Jay Perk comes in, 7th grader, to like now he at Bank of America and just being in that space. Because I'll tell you an example. He was doing his master's program, MBA. And he called me and said, Mr. Murph, I don't know. I don't think I need this, man. It's hard. I just want to, I said, listen, what kind of life do you want to live? Let's start there. If you want lavish or you want, minimalistic, and that needs to dictate your next move. And we had a talk, and then, years later, he just reflects on how impactful that conversation was. So I just love being accessible to my scholars.
Yeah. What's a mental health first aid instructor like exactly? What exactly is that?
Yeah. So, we got first aid, physical, first aid, but in mental first aid, I teach people how to identify signs and symptoms of a person experiencing a mental health challenge. So we teach them, you gotta be able to assess for suicide, listen non-judgmentally, give reassurance and information. You gotta encourage, and give the appropriate professional help. And lastly, encourage self-help. So that's the acronym ALGE that we teach. It's I actually got a training on Tuesday. I do it virtually. I did that. I've been doing it about 5 years now. So I do adults. So a lot of people, a lot of hospitals want whether their doulas trained on it. We could train police, firefighter. We could train anybody, military. But yeah, I've been doing that for about 5 years. So when I worked at UPMC in Pennsylvania, one of the things, so I was like the face of the org in the community. So I represented the president. And one of the things we wanted to do to really give back to the community was teach the mental first aid course. So I went in, did the course, and then became an instructor. So that's, it's really dope. A lot of people never heard of it. So I like to just talk about it all the time. I actually just finished up a song. It's called Mental Support. And it's inspired by the mental first aid work that I do.
Yeah, I mean, it might be a good thing for military to kind of get to. I don't think we have that exact. We got things,
Right.
but I think, that might be something I reach out to you just on the back end
Okay.
about, kind of get some info about, because we
Yes,
could
sir.
probably use that at one of my commands. I want to
Check.
move. I want to talk family a little bit.
Yeah.
You got Max and Violet, right? V Rain.
V-Rain, baby. That's my
Yes.
baby.
Yeah, I saw her promoting your book on Instagram. And they how old are they? What's their age difference?
Yeah, so Violet is 8. She'll be 9 in September. And Max is 6. He'll be 7 in December.
Yeah. And then like you're a present father, right? You there with your kids.
Yeah.
And which is the opposite of what you grew up to. And the opposite of what a lot of us grew up to coming out of the 80s, going into the 90s. So the question I got for you, I think all three of us right now in this conversation either didn't grow up with their dad or didn't grow up with their dad in the house, right?
Yeah.
Right, Damon?
Yeah.
So my question for you is like, what does being a present father like mean for you in this era? Like what's the benefits? Like everything.
Yeah, I mean, I tell them, I tell my kids, my present for you is my presence. You know what I'm saying? Because it's not about gifts, it's about time and experiences. You know, it's so like I go everywhere. Whether I go, we got the dudes meet up. It could be like 30 of us, men's club. We just meet up. Sometimes I got Max with me. You know what I mean? My daughter, I'm in the studio, they with me. I've watched my daughter's first steps, first everything, like, cause I'm home, our household dynamic lends itself for that. It means so much. My daughter, and they're so like emotionally intelligent, My daughter like, Daddy, tell me about the time when, you struggled at this thing when you were in high school. And like I don't know where she formulates it. Well, we raised her, so I should be surprised. But I just love that they're curious. They just want to know all about you. I have this song called Friends, and it's loaded with double entendres, lines, and stories. And my daughter was like, Daddy, let's play it and talk to me about every line in the story, And we just connect like that. We sit and we chat and all the little things. It means so much. Listen, and they just want to be a part of whatever I'm doing. My daughter got a song out because she be in the studio with me. So she got a song, I Believe, out. And she be in the studio, Max be in the studio. All the experiences. One of the things I took from my man, shouts out to my man Dozer. He out in Texas, Army dude. And when I was going in the father, he said, Murph, listen, best advice, have no limitations. Expose them to everything. And I've ran with that, man. Like, I remember people like, damn, you ain't gonna be able to travel no more. I'm like, what? We out. So my daughter was in the sky, I think in 3 months. We flew from Philly to Cali. Bad idea because it was a 6-hour flight, but we did it. You know what I'm saying? We had the stroller, the carrier, that we look crazy, but we get where we going. You know what I mean? But it's so important to like, and give them examples of your life. I'm not afraid to say where I had failures at. They need to hear. The hope is that they learn from my mistake. Don't make this. I just told you this mistake I made. There's a hole over there. Go around. And that's what I love. And, I love that they're curious about it. And they just want to be around you. Because I keep hearing people say, your kids are going to grow up and then they ain't going to be around you. I just can't subscribe to that. I mean, if it happens, it happens. Like mine, nah. You know what I'm saying? I love it though. Yeah.
Yeah, you just can't pull them back. Like, hey, let's watch Godfather together one more time. Right. They gonna be like, I don't want to do that no more. Hey, so, but you're married as well, right? And I heard a verse from you. It started something like, and I don't know these lyrics exactly, but it was like, you gotta love him before you could love her. Or you gotta fall in love with him before you could fall in love with her. And,
you gotta
and
seek
that
him
verse,
to find her.
Yeah, you gotta seek him to find her.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and let's talk about the higher power, right? So, my question for you is, how did your beliefs, like the motivation beliefs, but also the faith-based beliefs, play into your courtship and who you decided to marry?
Oh, all right, good question. You're right. So I've been on this podcast, right? You're the first person that like asks me about this, so this is fun. So I met wifey in Barbados, 2006, 2007. I think I just got the military, and I took my mom's, my niece, and my sister. I took them to Barbados, so we just like on some vacay. So my sister runs into this dude Purnell, who she went to high school with. And they coolin'. We had this club, me and my sister, and he was like 40 people. They had family reunion. And my wifey had me one of them, Sharice. And I'm like, I'm like, but now who that? Like, Sharice, what up? So we talking some flirty, but I'm a real like I don't want to say a profiler, but I could pick up people energy. I could see, and I knew that she had values and morals and integrity and all the things. And I'm a dirtbag. And I told her, I said, this ain't gonna work out. I like you. I think you're a really cool person. This ain't gonna work out. And that's that. She'll tell you. And time goes on, and we stay friends, like to the point like she's in medical school, and she's just like, I got this paper I want you to look at, and like my thing was like, damn, that's cool. Like this is a paper that you got, an essay you got a right to go into, I think residency or whatever it was, or extra training. And then she became someone who used to recommend certain books to me. Like we was just on a different level, like really vibing.
Yeah.
But like I knew, she was grounded in her faith and all the things, and truly respected that whole space. So I ain't like, caught her on some like, actually I ain't really caught her. I was just like, it was cool us being friends.
Mm-hmm.
And I really think that's the best way. And when you think about courtship, is like establishing that foundational friendship. And then it can evolve from there. You know what I'm saying? Now she would tell this story way better than me. I'm gonna give us the cliff notes. But no, it was, I think we went on because she's a physician, OBGYN, and when we would start talking, I mean, because we only had like, I think Sundays, but we have like an 8-hour window, and sometimes we'll max out 8 hours. And for me, that was insane for me to talk to a shorty over, 30 minutes max, but like, we just talking about life. What's your vision? What would you see? What's ideal for you? Like all the things I think a lot of us miss in courtship. You know what I mean? Then you together, you like starting to learn each other. But we did a lot of that on them Sundays. And I think that's where the bond really formed. You know what I'm saying? We was like, appreciating each other's flaws. Because at the end of the day, right, if you date and you get in together, say in your 30s, 35s, this person been this way for 20 plus years. You ain't gonna change them. So you gotta accept them how they are and be like, you know what? I like these things. Ain't too much a fan of that, but I like this enough to be like, I'm all in. Like that's gotta be the approach. And I think we did that through, and then I became her like her wedding date. She always called me to pull up for a wedding. I'll be stepping and I'm about to rock out,
Yeah.
So we really bonded, man. And that song, that's her favorite song. And it speaks to our journey. You gotta seek him to find her, a man of faith. That's what she prefer. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's for the love of women.
Yeah, man. Hey, since we talk about music, I'm gonna go into music. I was gonna talk about, so I got some motivation stuff. I got a lot of stuff left, man. So so bear with us if you can. Did the name Mr. Motivation exist before the music, or did that come with music?
Yeah, so that was the speaker, Mr. Motivation, the speaker. Okay. And as I evolved, I just branched into Mr. Motivation Music. And so that's what, because I'm just like, I just had to like coin it. Because like for me, like my kids are my biggest fans, and I got whatever I spit, they gotta be able to hear. No bleeps. And I like that, you know what I mean? So my lyrics, because so remember, grounded in a special ed background, I know people listen and learn different wavelengths, auditory, visually. So when I present, I speak, do spoken word and music, because one of those frequencies is going to hit you. And then the lyrics is weaving into the beat, or it's a cappella, or it's me giving you some game. But some way, shape, or form, there's nuggets in there. Yeah. And that's been my way of differentiating myself from other speakers.
Yeah, I didn't I wasn't really on Adam Won't Lose until I'm getting ready for this episode, and I'm like, well, let me check Adam Won't Lose out. And a couple of them caught me. It's really good motivation with the music in the background. Yours is not that. It's totally different. Right. And I like that, like to be inspired by something, but then have your own sauce, like all the way, right? How old were you when you chose to do this?
Oh, I'm like 5 years in.
Oh, so okay, so it was over 40? I don't know how old you are, actually. So
my kids might be listening. They've been trying to figure out my age for years.
Were you over 40?
Oh, yeah.
All right, and you mentioned, so I want to give you a shout out for mention. So so like I rapped like all my life, right? Since I was 9 years old, right? I've been writing. I kind of don't do it as much now. So I want to give you a shout out for mentioning how hard the learning curve is as a rapper, because everybody think that they could just pick up a pen and a pad and make words rhyme, and they don't think about like internal rhyme, like Rakim, right? He introduced us to like what internal rhymes are, right? So they don't think about internal rhymes. They don't think about similes, how they work, metaphors, double entendres, like lyrics, like intricate lyricism. They just think you could say, I walked to the house and I saw a mouse, and they think that they got something fly. You know what I mean? So for you to say, like, hey, I dived, I'm telling you, David, like people don't know. Like for you to say, like, I'll do a line I really like. It's an Eminem line. I love it. And and I'm gonna just say it for the listeners or whatever. He got a line, right? He says, imagine going from being a no one to seeing everything blow up, and all you did was just grow up and seeing. Like to me, that's incredible rhyming. Like everything makes sense, like completely makes sense, but it's super intricate. Like the pattern is super intricate. That's elite level, like rhyming. It's not a punchline, it's nothing. It's just imagine going from being a no one to seeing everything blow up, and all you did was just grow up and seeing. That's all that is, right? People don't know. That's not easy to do. Right. So I want to shout you out for saying how hard of a learning curve it was as a rapper. And then I want to shout you out, and I'm gonna shut up for a second and listen to you. I also want to shout you out for talking about how you grew, right? And a lot of people, they think that they need formal education before they start things, right? But they don't know like how easy it is, or how not even easy, how much more beneficial it is to just go to the source, right? So you saying like, hey, how I learned was I went through and I listened to the greats, right? So people want to watch movies. When I went to school for cinematography, like my biggest lesson was watching like all the movies that won Oscars. Or like when I wanted to rap or whatever, hey, somebody was like, hey, you need to listen to every Ice Cube album. You need to listen to every Rakim album. You need to listen to Slick Rick. You want to be a podcaster. You better listen to an episode of Joe Rogan, right? Just to know, you know what I'm saying? Like you better listen, like in the culture, you better listen to Joe Button, you better listen to Nori, you better listen to Gillian Wallow, just to like learn, right?
Check.
So I do like where did you get that spirit from? Like, hey, I need to go listen to Biggie. I need to go listen to Jay-Z, etc.
Yeah, well, there's a quote I love to live by. It says, success leaves clues. Like, this has been done. Or anything I go into business, I say, all right, if I'm Pepsi, who's Coke? What's Coke doing? What can I learn from them and extract from them? And that's how I really got, especially with music, because I'm like, dang, you got the imposter syndrome, but like it's this thing that like I have no formal training on, but I have a burning desire. I'm gonna tell you what else it was grounded in. I told my kids, listen, you don't got to be smart or talented to be successful. Focus and effort. You can do anything. Daddy don't know nothing about music, but I got this idea. I got this vision. I'm going to put in 10,000 hours. I'm going to study, and I am going to be performing at a high level eventually. So one of my favorite moments, I'm at a Launch Music Fest in Lancaster, Pennsylvania, probably about 2 years ago. Just did a 20-minute set, all music. We going up. At the end, my daughter runs backstage. She jumps on me. She said, Daddy, you said you was going to do this like 3 years ago, and you did it. Bro, nothing else matters. Like, she's not going to read it in no book. Max ain't going, you ain't tell him about me. They watch it. They see me out there in the driveway rehearsing. They see me studying. And that's what it's about. Like, you got to, I always tell people, it's the 4 C's. You got to commence, get started. You got to be committed to that thing, not just interested. You got to be consistent. And last thing, complete whatever you start. And that's been my approach to anything. I remember music, and it's like, I didn't need validation from anybody. I knew what I wanted to do, and that was it. Now, my man Pig is the first one. My song Friends, I start, Pig, you was the first to believe. And he was, but he would say, Murph, you're not a rapper, but this is cool. And then year 2, he said, remember, you're not a rapper. But this April just passed. He said, Murph, You have earned your stripes, brother. And I was like, I need you to send me a voice note. You know what I'm saying? But it felt good because I've been putting in the work, and I'm not afraid to look crazy. My first creative director, Josh, should tell you, we was in the basement of the studio, and I'm trying to spit my tempo. I'm stinking it up. I can't string 2 lines together. But I was okay with being in front of someone stinking it up. But here's what stops a lot of us. Just like the 3 of us, we performed at a high level in the military. Now we want to try this new thing. Well, you the effing new guy. You know what I'm saying? You got to start from the bottom. They don't want to start over. Well, I say to you, you don't want it bad enough. You know what I'm saying? You look at the greats. What was it, Bruno Mars? I was watching some videos when they was in there performing for 5 people in the crowd. Now they perform for 500,000. I'm like, yes. Like, I'm all right. I just performed in Lancaster the other day. It was a handful. That's okay. It's a handful today, but you got to get in your reps.
Yeah.
It's all about that practice. Practice makes improvement. A lot of us don't. We want to skip practice. I tell my daughter, because she was going to perform with me one time and she was poo-pooing in practice. I said, when you go out there, if you're nervous, you default to the level that you practice at. If you practice at a high level, the nerves are going to be there, but your muscle memory is going to kick in. You know what I'm saying? And that's why I practice. Take a video of myself, mute it, watch it back, see how I'm moving, press the audio, listen. Bro, listen, I'm so surgical. I had to give a graduation talk. I went to the studio, recorded the talk, and now that's all I listen to over and over and over and over. You know what I'm saying? When I practice, I'll hold like a 5-pound weight vest or weight. So now my arm won't get tired, because if I'm doing this with a 5-pound weight, once it's the microphone, I'm all over the place.
Yeah.
Like, this is the type of things I'm doing to be excelling at this craft, at this art. You know what I mean? So I'm encourage y'all, anything you doing, man, do it. Just go, jump, fly, but put in the work. And it costs you nothing. YouTube University. You just watch people. You go on the reels, watch them, and they telling you how to do it. You know what I'm saying? So it's been a journey, man. We still going.
Yeah, I one of my Philly homies here, rapper, his name Chill Moody. He got a line that say like, hard work beats talent, especially when talent is hardly working. And it just, that, like what you said made me think of that. So I'm gonna jump into the music. So you dropped the album called The Audio Collection in 2023, right? The intro, is that your daughter on the intro?
That's my daughter, yeah, V Rain.
Okay, and she got a powerful line, right? It says, "No compass comes with this life, but I had a blueprint." Right? You wrote that, or did that come from her?
So we were together. That's together. So she was young there, but so she influenced a little bit. But yeah, I put that together for her.
Yeah. Now, what I want to say about this music, man, for the listeners, is I was listening to this music at 3, right? So I did some consumption, like, and prepping for this podcast, like, to talk to you. And it's a lot of motivation from you. And we're going to talk about motivation right after we talk about music. So, like, I've been telling myself, like, I need to wake up at 3. I need to wake up at 3. You know, then it's like, well, what would Mr. Motivation do? You know what I mean? He would just get up, my alarm hit. I went to sleep later because my little niece, she on her way here now, actually.
Okay.
I went to sleep a little later, and at 3:00 hit, I'm like, man, I ain't about to wake up at 3. But I did. But when I woke up at 3, I turned on the audio collection. And I was getting mad, like, y'all can listen to this while I brush my teeth. It's like the perfect playlist for that. Then I got out the house, right? And another thing I want to say is this. What it did for me is it made me feel fine being me, right? So I've been listening to the Clips. The Clips just dropped the album. I think it's fire, like God saw them out. But Push don't make me feel, Push insult me every time I listen to him. Like, he's super condescending. Right, he already made me stop buying Michael Kors. Right, right? He got that line that say, "Can a chick live and say I bought a Michael Kors?" Right, I was heavy in the Navy Exchange in the Michael Kors coat section when I heard that line. He made me chill. I just can't buy my wife bags. Because I can't afford Chanel. No, but seriously, like, what your music did is it just made me feel normal, right? Like a normal, almost 40-year-old man. And I think we need music like that as we get older, because hip hop is getting older with us. You got a line, right? And for the listeners, some of this is spoken word, right? All this ain't rap, hip hop. Some of this is spoken word. So you got a line on Temple. You said outside is clean and proper, but my insides, sheesh. I need help. I need help. I need help. I felt that, man. I felt that, man, because we take great care of what people see. You know? But it's what people I had to tell myself, like, I'm not eating Popeyes again. You know? And I ain't eat Popeyes since. And a couple of days, I'm like, yo, my mom gonna be like, I told you eat Popeyes too much. A couple of them days, I wanted Popeyes. You know what I'm saying? I can't rock with it. So, like, what was what made you make Temple? Where'd you get the inspiration from for that?
So this is the first project right now. I think that this is when it started me giving myself permission to just be real.
Right.
Cause I'm like, big dude and everybody expect you to show up strong. Murph always figures it out, but they don't know. I don't be knowing. Sometimes I be needing help. And it just growing up, it was never okay to ask for help.
Yeah.
And I remember even with my Temple, when my first draft, I sent it to wifey because my wife is a doubter too. She's one of my doubters. And she was just like, it's cool, but you gotta go deeper. And I didn't want to hear that. I wanted her to be like, yo, this is dope, right?
Yeah.
And I walked away, came back that next morning and finished it. So when she heard it, she didn't know I revised it. And this is one of the stuff I was like, I gotta peel back some layers. We talked about it at the top of the podcast. And I wanted to not just for me, because remember, this was therapeutic for me. This is thoughts I've had for years. And now I get to put this out in the music and I'm sharing it with the world, but I'm hoping that dudes that got similar upbringing, similar backgrounds, understand like, yo, it's all right to say I need help. You know what I'm saying? So that was my thinking there, but it was so, as artists, like a release to take that weight. Because we carry weight, Black men, we carry weight. We shield a lot of our loved ones, friends and family. So we got to have an outlet. And for me, it became music, the pen, the paper.
Yeah, you need an outlet. Some of us, when we start podcasting, we use that as you need. Did you write the spoken word like a cappella, or did you write it to the instrument? I was very interested in that because I want to do a spoken word album.
Yeah.
And I'm like, man, like what you was saying was sliding really well into them instrumentals. Did you write it to the instrumentals, or did you write it outside of the instrumentals?
I feel like with that one, so what my process, and I figured out the process, 'cause I just started about 5 years ago, but I would listen to instrumental just over and over, and I just become one with the sound.
Yeah.
And then I just start writing. And for me, it's like a puzzle. I maybe put, a set of bars here and a set here, and then it's like, oh no, this goes here. And then I'll put it together, run through it, and be like, oh, I need to tweak this. And so that's kind of how I approach the writing process.
You got a track, right? It's called Me Versus Me on a project, right? Hey, Damon, I strongly recommend, if you haven't heard the project, check it out. For the listeners, check it out. It's motivation through music, right? And it's hard to explain if you don't listen to it. But you got a track called Me Versus Me. It's really dope. What I want to ask you is, why is it called Me Versus? So, I'm getting to this like thinking where I'm like, yo, it's called Me Versus Me. Is it? And it's people calling like a helpline and they asking for advice from you. But I didn't listen to it. I'm like, damn, I was in the shower, but I'm like, damn, do I want to run this back? And is it him calling the helpline asking for advice from himself? Is it one of those kind of things? So what was the reason why? So 2 questions. What was the reason why you called it Me Versus Me? And then was that like one of the last tracks that you recorded on the project?
Yeah, so Me Versus Me, when you tap in, it's my wife acting as the hotline person.
Okay.
And it's other people calling in with like their struggle. Like, I started a business and I don't know what to do. And my wife was like, you know what? You might want to check out the track Why, because it talks about your why and your reasons, and you keep going. And she just she did that in one take.
She killed it.
Bro, one take.
Yeah.
Because she knew the project and she know me. So Me Versus Me, and I tell people in life, it's just that, you versus you. You know what I mean? Everything's about choices in life. We're going to have situations and circumstances. Are you going to say, this is it, or there's more? What are you going to do?
Yeah.
It's you versus you. The person that says that I can and the person that says that I can't, they're both right. Which one is it? And I think every day you got to look in the mirror and decide. And this one was one that, was reflective. And, often if I'm selling a car, if you hear from me, I sound like a salesperson. But you hear from other people, it hits different. So with this one, you got different voices with different challenges and struggles. And it's like, yo, maybe you connect with this one because Sir Dom was talking about the women in his life don't really get him. Then wifey gave him some feedback. The dude's like, I struggled with my business for 5 years. I kind of want to quit. But you need this feedback. So it's loaded in that storytelling, but it's really for you to internally reflect. Where am I? Where do I want to be? Am I ready? Am I ready to give it all I got? What am I willing to sacrifice to get the life that I want? Like it's a reflective piece, and you can just put it on. And my hope is that it activates that thinking in you. It's bigger than the lyrics. It's just to activate your mind. It's like, yo, I ain't think about, am I going hard enough? You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of what I hope that people get out of that track.
Yeah, and it's also like connect. And hey, Damon, I'm nerding out, so you could jump in whenever you want to, man. I'm just nerding out right now on the music. It's also like a connective tissue because I feel like the album start with like a lot of spoken word, and the album ends with a little bit more like music, right?
Right.
But I feel like that Me Versus Me is like right there in that connective tissue that's about to bring me to like my why and like the rest of cadence, and we're gonna talk about some of that stuff, which I think is dope. But it's also a really good introduction to you. Me Versus Me alone is a really good introduction to you, and I think is placed at a good spot on the album. I want to say that this is an original project. Like I never heard this. It's probably been done before. I'm sure you've done your research, but I've never heard it before, which mean that it's a big window for this as you keep going and growing in it, right?
Yeah.
I also want to shout out your producer, because another thing that like with this, the intention between like a project for a project like this between you and a producer would be to make something that people just play, right? And what I mean by that is like if I'm listening to Eminem, for instance, right? I'm gonna use M again. I can't just play M. Like I gotta like sit and listen really hard to M. With this project you got, I could just put it on, and then I'm gonna catch the I'm gonna catch the bullets when I catch the bullets. I'm gonna catch the nuggets when I catch the nuggets, or I could just let it vibe and whatever grab me at the time, right? And then eventually, so I like that y'all did that. So and shout outs to your producer because some of those beats fit. It was the dopest kind of thing. I'm gonna go to Why. Right, you got a track called Why. You got a lyric in there. It's called How Could I Stop Right Now? Right? And then there's also something you said, in my world, well, you are the I think you had a guest on that. He said, like, in my world, I don't let fear exist. And then it said, I can't let mom's sacrifices go in vain. Right. So I feel like when I'm listening to it, right, a person is at like the point of I want to stop. But it's like, hey, no, you need to find your why and keep going. Find your why and keep going. You can't stop. How could you stop?
Can't stop.
What was the motivation behind that track?
Yeah, so I think about even when I was in that, I'd say the blue funk, the pit, when I transitioned from the military, one of the things that helped me kind of get out that days was thinking about my mom's, her journey. Her pops was illiterate. He was a fisherman. Her mom's was illiterate. She sold what he brought from sea at the market. And she came to the U.S., in pursuit of happiness. And I always say I was like one of her hope seeds. And she watered it through love and being present and the hopes that I get an opportunity at success. And I said to myself, if my mom's came here from Barbados with the little that she had and got me to here, I got to do exponentially more. I got to dig deep. And I can't let the sacrifices she make go in vain. You know what I'm saying? So And remember, you can't be afraid to have to stop and restart. And that's why I had to give myself permission. Remember, I'm leaving the military, staff so everybody's looking for me. So like no one's looking for me, broke and unemployed. I had to give myself permission. It's okay. You in the dumps now, but let's not stay there.
Yeah.
It's how can I stop right now? Because a lot of times we focus on what's missing, and we got to focus on what we have. And you got to appreciate how far you've come. So when I talk about your why, like when I spit why it's different. I could do that with the beat. I could do that a cappella. And the jokers be like, it's reflective. Like, I want you to sit with this. You know what I'm saying? These 3 letters are grounded. These 3, the why grounds anything you do in life, anything you want to be in life. You got to understand what this is. And it is tied into finding your purpose, living in your purpose. Because I encourage you, listeners and viewers, don't chase money, chase your purpose. Like, why are you here? Who are you? Why are you here? Where are you going? Like, you got to answer those questions. And I love why. So I don't perform why up to the part about my mom's. I leave that off in a live performance. But the first beginning is appropriate.
Yeah, it's funny you talk about like not chasing money because you got a bar. I've been running up a check but never ran track. You know, I'm like, okay, bird flow. He got the slick. I'm hearing the slick bars now. You know what I mean? He said, I just did you a favor. Don't mention it, right? But it was how you set it up, right? It kind of went with the setup and all that. I peeped it. You know what I mean? And then I get to the track cadence, right? So I get the cadence, and it's different because it's actual cadence. I'm like, okay, so it's a cadence track, Damon. And then he come in with a motivational flip that I definitely wasn't expecting, but it definitely worked. And you just explained it earlier when you explained cadence, so I get the tie in and kind of where that came from. But one of the questions I got like coming out of cadence was, did you structure all your songs?
You mean like from beginning to end, like how it's going to flow
format
out?
it? Yeah. Did you do that, or did you have like somebody that was more experienced at creating music, like help?
Yeah, you know what's crazy? Only people we had on the project was the producer, and I'm still learning music in the techno terms. So yeah, I did all that. But shouts out to my and because here's the thing, like we absorb so much and not know what we absorb, especially when I'm trying this new thing, but I'm bringing like I've heard whether it's Jay do this and it's like so I may have, but I don't want to discredit my producer. Shouts out to Pig, Danny Boy and the Machine. I have like 3 dudes I've been working with, Pig from the beginning, and what's dope, right, is because I don't have to answer to anybody. Like I got Mr. Motivation Productions. It's structured as a label. I push out what I want to push out, how I want to push it out. Here's the funny thing about life, and I'll tell you this about your circle. Your network is your net worth. So Pig, when I was doing all these shows at Juvenile, Defraud, Pig was an artist. He was probably 16, and that was my G. So I let him and his group open up for all of the big artists we brought. And then fast forward, now he's more in the producer lane, and he's just, Murph, I got you. So and now in the music space, as we all know, it's real tricky. You gotta have people that you trust around you to help you navigate. And I used to be like, Pig, you gotta like, what's this split? How's this cue sheet work? And even I was just almost like happy to be in the room as it relates to the studio time and all the things to now grow into, and I play that back. I hear something and I don't like that. Take that out. To be comfortable quarterbacking. You know what I mean? So the growth has been, man, it's crazy. And I just get so excited because as someone that tries to empower people on like, just dream what you want. And it can happen. You know what I mean? When I tell people I live the dream, they think it's a catchphrase. No. You can look at my journey. I've dreamt this up. Like one of my girls, so I have like a small circle, about 5 people who I send my new music to. And I'm like, yo, give me your feedback. And they all probably from Brooklyn. So I get like real feedback, you know, this sucks. Change that. Now, and she said yesterday, I sent her a new track. She said, well, I must admit, I didn't see you going this direction in life, but it's good stuff, you know what I'm saying? And that's real. But yeah, man, it's crazy because you kind of like step outside and you looking at, you be like, dang, you did that. And then to do that with the kids, bro, I'm gonna tell you this. I remember this was actually the first album. Someone DM'd me, I think from France, and they was just like on Why. They said, listen, I just wanted to tell you that I listen to Why all the time, and Why saved my life.
Yeah, I mean, I can see it.
Boy,
I can see it.
Boy, then it's like, because you already know, like, wait, this is a sauce.
Yeah.
Like, it's bigger than me. You know what I'm saying?
And that's crazy, right? But because they say when you go, and I said this on the pod before, when you go internal, you touch external, right? You doing it yourself is therapy for you, but damn, it's therapy for somebody else.
Yeah.
Wow.
You know, it's the same thing with podcasting. This shit be connecting with people.
Yeah.
You know?
Wow.
You talk about your bunker, right?
Yeah.
And I know you got Breakthrough Bunker, but the song Bunker, when I first heard it, is your bunker like a state of mind as well, or is it a physical thing?
So that's a good question. You know, I leave that up for interpretation. Now, for me personally, you know, the crib. Now, this is the fort, the bunker, where it all goes down. Like, I don't like to take calls on the go. I need to be at the command tower. I'm at the top where I could do my thing. Now, the Breakthrough Bunker, when I think about that, that's a space I created. I was getting hacked a lot. I don't know why on IG. So I didn't want to create a community there. So I'm on Mighty Networks. And it's a transformational space, man. Because I found when I travel and give talks and shows, I connect with the people, but then it's like, you know, you might get hit me on IG that, you know, Tim manages. But if you got a space where you can come tap in with me, it's free and we break bread. And it's like, come as you are, whether you starting over, whether you starting out, whether you struggling or you stuck, let's break bread. And I treat it like my college classroom. Like, I'm the guide, but we all gonna help each other through our stories. You know what I'm saying? So that's where the Breakthrough Bunker comes through. And it's like, you know, you're not broken, you are becoming. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And we all gotta figure out, like, I'm gonna help you break through. You know, and I read this book as I was coming up with this concept, How to Start a Cult. And I know oftentimes it gets a negative connotation, but think about it. You got the Beehive, you got the Swifties. That's a cult-like following. And I'm like, I know there's a subset of people who don't believe success is gonna come for them, who don't believe they can. Well, I'm talking to y'all. I don't need hundreds of thousands. I need about 1,000 of y'all. 1,000 of y'all that's gonna show up that may not even think they ready to go next level. Okay, that's cool. Let's just break bread on a consistent basis. Because what happens? Proximity is power, right? If we get in this space on a consistent basis and I'm sharing, well, I dropped out of college and I'm a college professor. I ain't know nothing about music. Now I've got 3,000, 5,000 listeners depending on the month. I mean, bro, you could do whatever you want. And now they got that visual. I'm not selling them a dream. I'm just telling them my story. You know what I mean? Like, these are things that start to resonate, but people will start to say, dang, you know what? I believe. And that's all it is. Remember, it's just walking on faith. It's seeing the invisible and believing the impossible. And I got a song, Psalms Wide Open. And when I got it, I'm reading this book now. I read a lot. Becoming Supernatural.
Yeah.
And I'm in the middle of this book, well, I started it, and it's talking about meditation and sitting still. And I remember I've been working on this mental health first aid song for so long, and I get deviated, but I go where the spirit takes me. And I just kept saying, you know, I pray, I speak, I meditate, I listen. And then I just wrote Psalms Wide Open off of that. And man, when I tell you that downloaded to me, but I was in the space of practicing my meditation on a consistent basis. And now you open yourself to receiving, right? And that song, I mean, I haven't even pushed that out enough, but that's like when my faith-based connection track.
That's an acronym, right?
What's that?
For Psalms, pray, speak, and
yeah, no. So that's the hook. I pray, I speak, meditate, I listen.
Okay. It's damn near an acronym.
Yeah, it's almost right.
It's like a
yeah.
Kendrick. That's like a Kendrick bar where you just finding the poetry in it, right?
Yeah.
Hey, so you got a track, right? And I know we about to get into motivation. That's like the big part of all this. But you got a track. It's called "Acting Different." Beans is on it from Rhythm and Flow. I love Beans from Rhythm and Flow, man.
Yeah.
I think she was she was like so small, like such a small frame, but just she was big body
voice.
with the bars, yo. She was big body. Like, how'd that happen?
So what's crazy, and let me tell you, when I approached this music game, I ain't really coming in as like a new music artist. I brought like my entrepreneurial business mindset to it. And I love me some Rhythm and Flow. Beans was my girl. And I said, all right, you know what? I need somebody that's probably credible. She's the beast. So I hit up, I think, Flawless. I may have hit up D-Smoke. London B, I hit up. London B's manager hit me back. He was saying, it's good because it's different, and it's bad because it's different. Because I don't know that many people are doing this lane. So I hit up Beans, and Beans hit me back, and I was just like, yo, all right, let's do this. And it was just dope because I just love like her delivery. She got like her punchlines, thought-provoking.
Nice.
I think it just aligned really well. So we did the joint, and I added that. So that was because I had dropped the audio collection. Then I got with I forget this publicist company, something creative agency. Shouts out to Q, Quintel, and what's his wife's name? Sabrina. They're out in Virginia. And they added, I added The Bunker and Acting Different, and we re-released the audio collection. So Beans now, a year later, I haven't even dropped this. I had Beans meet me in Philly, and we did a whole video shoot. We got the video I never even dropped of Acting Different.
Nice.
But yeah, my thing was to really, I just liked her energy. I like her socials, her visuals was dope. She's from Reading, and I was like based in Lancaster, so I was like, we're gonna bring Beans home. So that's kind of how that happened.
That's what's up, man. My last music question is, how's this performing going for you, man? How you liking performing, getting on stage and all that?
It's a challenge. So, I always say I've done graduations, 5,000 at the Hershey Center, and that is easier than 20 people in a poetry intimate session. You got 28, you got 40 eyeballs at you. Now that's speaking. You transition that to like the performative aspect. I got me a vocal coach. I've been studying. It's funny. I want to get. I'm like a recovering perfectionist, so I'm like I got to get someone that can help me be even better. And I've sent videos to some of my producers to review. Hey, Murph, you're a natural. You look all right. I'm like, I need to get even tighter. So I feel good out there. One of my best compliments. I met this guy. He was a Marine. He was deaf. He came up to me. He said, "Listen, I can't hear very well, but I felt everything you did and said on that stage." I was like, "Damn, I'm right where I'm supposed to be." You know what I'm saying? So it only gets better. Now, let me tell you how, like, my mindset. We had some performances in PA, and we did this one thing with a really dope outfit. I mean, we had all the bells and whistles, screen, all the things. So in my mind, I'm like, all right, what would I do for the Grammys? So I remember my first performance joint, I had like a little mini fashion show, smoke. Then I had a lyric video to each song. So there's a visual while I'm performing. So I'm like already thinking 10 steps ahead and not like, oh, I'm just this. Because we're not just anything, right? You want to perform as the way you want to be. So this is practice. So I've been really enjoying it, but I definitely want to get better.
Yeah, I mean, people need to hear that more though, bro. Like, we're not just anything. That joint just hit me because every lesson I've learned from where I'm at, right? I'm about to transition somewhere else, But every lesson I learned from where I'm at right now, it has to do with me telling myself I was just something. You know what I mean? So every lesson I learned, you know what I mean? And now I'm in a home stretch like, man, I never was just something.
Never.
You know what I'm saying? But look, hey, y'all, we going, so boom, that's the greatest way to start this segment right here. We gonna do it. We gotta hit M.O.P one more time. All right, we gonna get into Damon's favorite, segment. This motivation, man. They don't call you Mr. Motivation for nothing. My first question is, how many acronyms do you have, man?
Yo, it's crazy. I go by a few names, y'all.
Yeah. So you got, I know you got like the 4 Bs.
Yep.
You got it.
The 5
because that's what I mean. Like, how many because you got a lot of different mantras, right?
Yeah. So we got the 4 Bs. I got that from I think it's Shaun Whalen, the core 4: body, being, balance, and business. So the objective is to have balance across the 4: body, mental, and physical fitness, right? Being, what's your relationship with the higher power? Balance. What's your relationships look like? Spouse, siblings, friends, family, and business. Where you at? You starting one? You struggling? Because what happens is you have people that are making buku bucks for business. Wife don't like them. Kids don't talk to them. No connection in their relationships. It's offset. So you want to have that balance. So that's the 4 Bs. Have the 5M formula for success: mindset, motivation, money management, and massive movement. Mindset. You got to go from a victim mindset to that of a creative mindset. I think every problem is solvable, right? You go into a problem like, damn, this ain't gonna work. You throw your hands up. What happens? This can't work. Brain shuts down. If you say, I gotta figure this out, brain's still working. So it's all about that mindset. It's a machine. Motivation. What's your why? What's your reasons? Whatever you're doing in life, it's gonna get hard. You're gonna get tired. You're gonna want to quit. You're gonna have to lean into your why to keep pushing forward. Mindset, money. I don't chase money, we chase purpose, right? I mean, your gifts are gonna make room for you. So don't chase money. Management. Oh man, remember, you are the CEO of your life. Proximity is power. Who's in your space? You gotta conduct a friend and family audit. If your friends and family are toxic, they gotta go. Boo-boo, Kiki and them, I know 10, 15 years, send them a postcard twice a year. They can't be in your space. They're energy drainers. And I always say there's 6 people you need in your team, SEAL Team 6. You need the doubter. This is the devil's advocate. When we have great ideas, we got blinders on. We going straight. Well, your doubter is going to point out the blind spots. Where's the potholes? How could you pivot? You got the instigator. They keep you fired up. You got the example. Who do you want to be like? Who do you want to impress? Or who's doing what you want to do at a high level? Reverse engineer and follow that blueprint. The taskmaster. This is the accountability partner. I say you need to check in with someone daily, weekly, and monthly. Did we hit our objectives? What are our benchmarks? Where's the opportunities for growth? And the last 2, the cheerleader, because the journey is long, you're going to get tired, and they are going to just big up everything you're doing, and it's going to keep you inspired. And lastly is the connector. This person gets you in the rooms you can't get in on your own. So that's the 5M formula for success. One of my other ones is I fail, I grow, I win.
Yeah.
I think that you got to fall in love with failure. Oftentimes, we just scared to fail. We stay stuck. But see, what happens is if I make an attempt here, I make an attempt there, I make an attempt there, what just happened? I have 3 data points, and that gives me feedback. Failure is feedback. What doesn't work, where I need to pivot, right? You got to learn from that. That's how you grow, and then eventually you win. So that's like, one of my other mantras, and I'll suggest a book, Go for No. I forget the author, but it talks about the levels of failure. The 0 level is your ability to fail, your willingness to fail, the wantingness to fail, Then you have fail big and fail fast. And lastly, fail exponentially. So if you have a team, everybody's so grounded in the same vision and mission and values, and they're all willing to fail for the cause, now you're going to learn at a faster pace. And now you can make those adjustments. So, yeah, that's some of my acronyms.
Yeah, the whole failure piece, man. I love how you speak on failure.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people don't. It's very important, and man, just going through that breeze, you lined off about 6 or 7 of my questions, which is perfect. But just that failure piece, and you talk about self-doubt too a lot. That inner voice. I heard you bring that up a lot. The inner voice, and we all have it.
Yeah. Because even think about it, like, so for me, I'm going into music, right? My other self was like, music? All you know how to do is press play on Spotify. What you talking about? And you got to ignore that. So here's what happened. I learned this from the homie, forget his name, but the wealthiest place in the world is a graveyard, because you got people who have dreams and big ideas. They took them to the grave. Ideas we'll never know about. But why? They had a fear of failure. They had a lack of support, right? In their eyes, they may have wanted the wrong people to buy into their thing. We talked about this earlier. Anxiety, self-doubt. Here's what happens with self-doubt. Oftentimes, we may say, I'm going to quit vaping. I'm going to start working out. I'm going to stop smoking. We don't quit. We don't start. We don't stop, right? Now, fast forward. Now you got a bright idea. I want to be a speaker. Well, self-doubt's coming in the conversations talking to you because you don't believe you. You didn't start, you didn't stop, you didn't quit. So why should you believe that you're going to do the speaking thing? And that's what's happened. So you now what's the word? Be impeccable with your word. 4 agreements. The 4 agreements you make with you in the universe. You got to be impeccable. Whatever you say you're going to do, you have to do, right? You got to start talking about those affirmations, those aphorisms. So you got to reset your mindset. I'm going to share a book, Secrets of the Millionaire Mind, T. Harvey Eker. He talks about the mind files. What'd you grow up? Did you grow up with your parents telling you ain't going to amount to this, you ain't going to amount to that? Well, guess what? That's stuck in there. So subconsciously, whether you recognize it or not, you got that forever in a conversation poo-pooing on you. So you got to bring that to light, recognize it, recalibrate it, and then pour into yourself to rebuild it, right? And that book definitely speaks to that. And that's a lot of times that self-doubt. You're like, damn, I don't know why I don't think I could do this. Well, let's go back to your family origin. And I speak on this a lot in schools because I've had scholars in high school. You got parents that, say, oh, you want to be a doctor? You ain't going to be no doctor. We in the hood. That ain't for us. And this is the parent, right? And this is real-time stuff, because what happens is the parent is projecting. The parent might have got pregnant early. Parent might not have been the nurse or doctor they wanted to be, but you are a reminder of the fact that they didn't achieve that goal. So subconsciously or not, they're going to pull you down. And this is your parent. You may not want to hear this, listeners and viewers, but this is real talk. And I got a pretty good big sample size. I've been teaching for over 7 years. Middle school, high school, college. Like, I know my scholars talk to me like, my mom's been telling me I ain't going to do this. I ain't going to amount to that. This is real-time stuff. So it may not be you, but you got to do the work to undo it. Hello?
Yeah.
So, I'll pause there.
Well, the new you is going to cost you the old you. Woo! That's another thing you said.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. It kind of creeps right up right there.
Yep.
But the other thing you said was, I don't care where you've been. I care where you're going.
Where you going?
Yeah.
Because this is the thing. We hold ourselves, we're not forgiving to ourselves. It's like I dropped out of school. I went to school and screwed off 20, 30 grand. Okay, where are you now? Where do you want to go? Because you got the past, present, and future. You got to embrace the present, be grateful for it, have a vision for the future. But if you keep living in the past, I'm going to suggest the book, Becoming Supernatural. It talks about that because remember, your mind is built to like experience a thing and keep pushing. But if you keep living in the past, your conscious starts thinking, wait, are we in the future? Are we in the present? Are we still in the, like, it gets confused. So you don't know what's going on. You're going to have to recalibrate that. Listen, passes, it's out of here. I can't do nothing with it. You know what I mean? It can inform your future, but it can't cripple you. You got to just, it happened. Forgive yourself. Give yourself permission to let that go. Extract what you needed to learn from said mistake and apply that to what's going forward. That's super important because we be hanging out in the past. We be blaming things. And it's like, bro, you can't control that it's gone. Let's move forward.
Talk to me about fear setting. Hey, you had a question, Damon?
Yeah, man. I got a couple questions, man. Hey, so one, first off, Mr. Motivation, man, right? So, that's kind of what you identify with a lot. So what does that mean to you, though, personally? What does that title mean, Mr. Motivator? When you sit back and you chilling, what does that mean to you?
Yeah, you know what's crazy? It never really hits me as like a thing until I'm like out and about. And people, wait, you missed, where was I? Here's a crazy story. I hope this answers the question, but it may not. I was on the plane and I was just zoned out. I'm with the fam, we flying in Atlanta, and I was just like, yo, the day's gonna come where I'm like recognized on another level, whether it's national, international. I get off the plane, picking up my luggage. Some shorty comes up to me. She's like, yo, you missed the motivation. I'm thinking, yeah, what up? She called my government. And she said, yo, I love what you're doing. Keep doing it. It's inspirational. And I'm like, no way. Then I get on a flight. A couple weeks later, I'm in Barbados. This dude comes up to me. And he says, yo, bro, I watch you on YouTube. Fellas, I'm like, this is crazy. Because I'm still in like infancy, if you ask me. This is years ago.
Yeah.
But it means a lot. Now, remember, I'm grounded in a life of service. It's not about me. It's like, and my vision always has been to create this platform to help people on a global scale. One of the things that keep me going, because I be tired, fellas. Oh, I'll be tired. It never stops. And I'm a dreamer, and I go from idea to execution very fast. So I'm always in production.
Mm-hmm.
But I say to myself, self, who loses if I don't win? Who loses if I don't? I can't stop. I gotta win. There's somebody in freaking South Africa that's going to be watching something that I ain't even put out yet that's going to change their life. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I always tell people, listen, everything I say may not be for you, but it only takes one thing to change everything. You know what I'm saying? And that's why I keep showing up. And when you say Mr. Motivation, that guy is a guide. That guy's a guide. I don't know what's the thing that's going to help you go from where you at to where you want to be. My hope is that it's something that I put out. It's something. It may be a book. It may be your book that I recommend. Yeah. But I recommended it at the time that you needed to hear that. So it's out of my hands. It's the universe doing what it does. I'm a vessel, and I angst to be in this position. And they say, sometimes you call to lead. Leaders just answer the calling. You know what I'm saying? And I got to just keep showing up.
Yeah. Hey, that's good, man. You and Dumbo mentioned a couple of times, man, don't chase money, chase purpose. So my question is, hey, how's your definition of purpose evolved over the years?
Yeah, well, how has my definition of purpose evolved? I think it comes back to, I think it's wrapped up into the who are you and why are you here? You got to look in the mirror and answer those questions. And for me, it's about expansion. It's about expanding my territory, me expanding my platform to help people on a bigger scale. And when I think about purpose, so this is an exercise I have my scholars do. I learned this from one of my virtual mentors, Simon Sinek. So I say, call or text 5 or 10 people that have known you over the span of your life, and just say, hey, why are we friends? It's been 20 years. Why are we still friends? Don't help them out. Just let them answer the question. Nah, you a cool dude. Nah. Now, why? And I'll give an example. I called L one day. Me and L met freshman year of college. L from Brooklyn. You know, he ruthless with it. I'm like, yo, L, why are we friends, son? He ain't skip a beat. He's like, yo, S, listen. When we was in college, you know, you was more popular than me first. But it didn't matter who you was around, where you was at. You never switched up. You was always the same. You went to the military, you came back. No matter where you was at, you hit me back. You know what I mean? You was consistent. And what you do is you take those 5, 6, 7, 10 people's responses, and I'm gonna bet you're gonna find a common thread. And you now got to do the work to extract what's the meaning there, and then you can figure out like purpose. You know what I'm saying? And I've done that. You know, and it's really dope to hear what people got to say about you, because we don't naturally answer those type of questions. We just, that's my homie. But like, you got 20 years and you just do answer your call. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a reason. You know, we grow apart, family, friends. Like, why you still tap in? And that speaks to who you are, and it speaks to your purpose. So, yeah.
Sure.
Hey, what's fear setting?
So that's something I learned from, I got a lot of virtual mentors. Tim Ferriss, and I started following Tim from, I think, 4 Hour Work Week. And one of the things he talks about is, you know, we always said goal setting, but fear is the thing that holds us back. So he talks about, you know, what's the cost of inaction? Oh, you want to lose weight? Okay. But you ain't start working out. What happens from you not starting to do this in 30 days, in 90 days, and you get to reflect. It's a different approach. You get to reflect, you know, what's going to happen. And then what he said, what happens, I forget all the acronym, but a gist of it is, look that up, listeners and viewers. Tim Ferriss, fear setting. Identify what's the thing that you're afraid of, and then it speaks to what's the thing that will happen if you don't pursue this thing. And a lot of times, you know, it costs you nothing. You know what I'm saying? But I'm glad you brought that up, because it's something that I actually don't hear about it at all other than from Tim Ferriss. But I think it's a really dope concept. I share it with my college scholars and anybody I'm mentoring for them to go look it up, you know, because everything ain't for everybody, but it's my job to introduce things to people.
So you said everything ain't for everybody. So what do you say when people don't feel motivated by what you say? Or like, have you ever said the right words to the wrong crowd? And example, right? I saw like Eric Thomas, he went to some school before and the kids was going crazy loud, like not paying attention. Eric Thomas cussed them out, something nice. Got them in line. Everybody go watch this on YouTube, but he got them in line and then they listened up. You ever had an experience like that?
No, you know, it's crazy. I have not. So let me think. Let me answer this right. Not particularly. I know I've been in a one school. It was all boys high school. They a little, you know, rowdy. Now as an educator, I know, you know, they say you want to get 100%. But I said, do I want to die on this hill over here? If I got 70%, I'm gonna rock with the 70 that's locked in. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Now, one of my advantages, I open with music. Like, I open with the bunker. First, I got my intro. And now, coming to the stage, he hails from Brooklyn, New York. They be like, wait, who's this coming out? Then I drop the bunker. They got that, you know what I mean? So I got them off of that shock value. And then I go into like the talk. You know, my big question, I probably say something like, what's the wealthiest place in the world? Or some shock question. And that typically locks them in. I know I did a talk in Delaware. They had about 1,000 plus. And the principal at the end, she said, listen, we've never had a speaker hold them captive for an hour like you did. You know, and I think that speaks to like my intentionality and diversifying the approach, speaking spoken word in the music.
What's something that's challenging you right now, or something you challenging yourself to do right now that you probably have not yet figured out?
How to get this grant funded? Well, you know what? Here's the thing, because I always struggle with there's so much to it, right? it's like you got to get the emails out. I got to get the content. I got to practice. I got to follow up. And it's like, I don't got the time to learn all the things. Because yeah, I mean, that's probably the only thing. It's like, one, getting in more schools, right? Getting on more decision makers' radar. That's like the biggest thing because that translates to one, impact and income. So those are the two things that I would say, would be a challenge. You got to send out like a lot of emails to get that. It's a numbers game, percentage of responses back. So challenges, just getting in front of the decision makers that want what I bring and offer into their school systems, so on and so forth.
The military needed too, man. The military needed too. I don't know, what that looks like business wise.
Yeah.
We just saw like it looked like one of the old vice CNOs about to do 30 years in jail for finagling some business that way. So I don't know what it looked like business wise, but our young sailors, I mean, like, in some of us older guys, we need it too, man. Like all that you talk about with fear and that failure and all that.
Well, yeah, it's interesting. So I can't say I've tapped in heavy to the military veteran community. It's all about, figuring out the entry point,
Yeah.
Is it through the VSOs? Is it through public affairs? And they be acting so funny. Now, not using excuses. So I haven't actively sought out. Maybe a few years ago, I went through, I think, the ROTC route, and then, but if you had any leads or people, even directions to go, and I could definitely, I'm all for vetting.
I might. I need that. I need your producer, man. We could do we could do a swap for swap. No. I really want to look at. I really want you to look into it. So I want to be a vessel to. I don't know none off top, but I probably do.
Sure.
And I'm sure somebody listening to the episode might. And I think it's our active duty, man, that need these. And you were active duty, so that's the connective tissue. I'm gonna shut up for a second. I'm gonna let Damon rock because my next thing I got is books. But I got one last thing about just motivation because what motivated me. Because one day I want to see this for PTSF. How'd you get a billboard in Times Square, man?
Wow, let's go.
Listen. When I tell you your boy be living the dream, I forgot about that. Oh, man. That was beautiful, man. And we were in New York. Well, I was intentional. We was in New York for that day. Wifey was with the kids. I was with my A&R, and I had like my team. So I got you on that connect. My man, he runs that stuff. And remember, it's so crazy, man. That's why I give so much because the universe just brings people in my space. And when you give and it's not transactional, things happen for you. You be like, I don't even question why people help me. I know why. I done helped scores of people before this time. But I could. That's a text message away. When you want to do that, I could plug you. And I ain't gatekeeping. I'll be like, yo, I got my man. Want to do this? Tap in. Done. So I got you.
Yeah,
Good shit, man. Hey, what does success look like right now?
Success, man. Listen, success is really being able to do what I want to do, when I want to do it, how I want to do it. I'm about that freedom life, right now. My role in life is to protect the potential of the kids, my kids, and just be all the things, be that partner, that sidekick for wifey. Like she do dopeness. She got her nonprofit, Patients Are Waiting, focus on building Black and brown doctors. And then like the great comedian once said, everybody can't be out front. Some nights you got to play the fiddle. And I play the fiddle, man. What you need? You good? Go be great. You know what I mean? So we a effective team. And success just looks like, keep being the example. Like think about it. My kids, they get to see they've been as that Times Square. They seen us on the billboard. My daughter and my son were at my book signing. They in the studio with me, like, bro, I lived the dream. They see so this is how actually it's official. I just bought into a semi-pro basketball team.
Nice.
What's the majors? So that's a major move we making. They're at the table with us. They're gonna be
Get it.
Yeah. You know what I mean? So success is beautiful. It's expansion. It's just showing them what's possible. There's no limit. So yeah, that's success to me.
It's good shit, man. So I always ask this too, man. Give me like mostly you just kind of probably already said before anyway, but 5 years, man, where we gonna see you at?
Oh, 5 years? Listen.
Yeah.
So how old am I? So my vision, whenever I hit the 5-0, I want to celebrate not me hitting it, but the people that got me here. You know what I'm saying? And I've been thinking about this for 10 years, like just wanting to celebrate. So I'm big on like really giving my friends and family flowers. I've buried so many people. Some of them I didn't get to give them their flowers. So now it's like being intentional on that thing. So that's one of the things I'm like looking forward to. Other than that, you know, I'm in empire building mode, man. Just, you know, I mean, you know, like we got the team here. I got the vision for the facility in the next 3 to 5 years. But it's just peacefulness, you know what I'm saying? Peaceful giving back. I always look at how can I give more? I've just gotten to this community up here. So it's like, I've seen a need to assist the people experiencing homelessness population. So I've been, you know, straining my brain. But, you know, like us, you know, city folks, we strategic. I'm not just jumping in.
Yeah.
I'm seeing where's the need, where's the entry point for me, and then I'm going to go. In 5 years, I want wifey, I've been pushing her to drop a book. I want her to get that, her podcast, The Waiting Room On, really just supporting her to go next level. Because at the end of the day, you know, it's the house got to win. Vertical integration. Shouts out to Nipsey. That's what I aspire to build next 5 years, where we run everything through our you know, foundation that we create.
Yeah, Tupac was trying to do that too, man.
Oh, Pac, word. Yeah, I just
Pac
remember
had those
Nipsey.
thoughts too. Pac wanted to control everything.
Yeah.
So, man, my last question for you, man, is like for military people, man, that's at that roadblock, man. 6 to 8 years, 10 years, you know, on the crossroad, ready to get out the Navy. You got any advice for them?
Yeah, ready to get out. So, one, take advantage of, we call it ACAPing. I'm not sure what y'all call it, that transition process, all the nuggets, the gems. Don't use it as time off. Really lock in, get your resume tight, get your USA Jobs resume tight, because that's a win. All of your medical stuff, go to whatever sick call we call it. Get all that stuff documented. Even if it's not hurting now, it hurted 5 years ago. Get it in the paperwork because you want to claim all of that stuff. Next thing, you want to make sure you still connected with someone who's still in, someone who just got out, and someone who's been out for 3 or 5 years who's doing what you aspire to do. What that does, it keeps you connected to what you know in the military. It keeps you connected with someone who just got out. They can help you navigate which pipeline, which lifelines to use, where the resources lie. And then the person that's been out, that's where you want to be. Success leaves clues. Hello, don't reinvent the wheel. Follow what they did. Tweak it as necessary. And I think that's a helpful thing. And be really strategic where you getting at, moving out to, do an assessment, what your finances look like, get your blueprint done. And I'll definitely just, you know, listen to podcasts like this, get insight from people that already done it, and listen to their not just the successes, their mistakes. What mistakes they made, what place in life were they at, what was their mindset, how did they overcome, right? These are the things you want to tap in. You want to become expert at extracting information, right? And then when you get the information, apply it appropriately. Yeah.
Good shit.
Yeah, hey, we like as I go into books and we go into like thinking about closing out. I appreciate you, man. You hanging with us, man. like you hanging with us. We be
hey,
in
listen,
here.
I text my assistant Sharon. I said 2 hours. What we gonna talk about for 2 hours?
Right, yeah. Now it's like, man, like we didn't pass too, right?
Yeah.
So Well, and we gonna finish how we normally finish. We're gonna talk about books. My first question for you is how often do you read? I'm assuming you read every day.
Bro, yeah. So I bake out 30 minutes to read. So I do reading, but I read like 2 or 3 books at a time. And I've gotten okay with I don't have to finish a book. I read to teach. So I gotta highlight, I gotta tab it up. Then I just finished what's his name? Think and Grow Rich, the Black Choice. He just did a podcast with Steve Harvey's daughter. It was like an hour and 30 or 40 minutes. Oh man. So how I digest, I'll listen to it straight through. I'll listen to it again, take little notes, and then I'll have a document open where I take copious notes. Because I'm trying to really process and be able to spit back certain things that he's saying. So I bake out time for podcasts and or YouTube joints, and then I'll read, and here's the thing about reading. Like my Amazon cart's full of just books. As you read, that authors recommend books. You know what I mean? I'm like, I gotta get that. So
Yep.
But yeah.
Hey, a little bit more M.O.P, right? M.O.P break, right? And the reason why is because I want to congratulate you on being an Amazon bestseller for your book, Unbreakable Valor, which dropped in May. It dropped in May of 2025. I saw you promote in March at some point, but it came out in May of 2025. Yeah. I have the book, of course. Some of the questions I asked you kind of came out of that book.
Yep.
I haven't finished. I started it. I haven't finished it yet. But so Amazon bestseller. So one of the things that hit me about that, right, is where you came from. Right. Because when I'm thinking about where we come from, Damon from, I don't want to speak, but he from Mississippi. I would say the bottom, right, Damon? Like,
Yeah. Most definitely.
I'm from South Philly. I would say the bottom, right? My mom probably don't like that, but we from the bottom. You know what I mean? And we are generally on the Apple Podcast Top 200 government podcast charts. Like normally, like we kind of live there now. But every time I see us, I remember when we first start getting there, Damon, I'm like sending us stuff in the group chat. But every time I see us there, I'm like, damn, we the top 200 of something in the world on some list somewhere, right? So how does it, and I know where I came from, right? So how does it feel for you knowing where you came from, seeing yourself on a bestseller list, period?
Bro, listen, this, it's all about the journey, and I think, it's important to reflect on how far you've come. And for me, my wife helped me with this because historically, I don't really sit to celebrate wins because I'm already building the next thing. And as I've learned, because what happens is the next thing, the win for that, it may be 2-3 years removed. So it's like, you know what? I gotta appreciate this. I remember one quote I heard. It's almost like when you get to the top of the mountain, take in the air, and then get ready to climb the next mountain. You know what I'm saying? But so for me, it's super, super exciting, man. And like, for the kids to see it, they're like, dang, my dad, oh yeah, we Googleable. They love all of that, man. That's what really moves me. You know what I'm saying? So they can see, we started this because I'm really, not necessarily document the process, but I talk through the process with them. All right, daddy's working on this. Now we got to work on the cover. Then it's this. Now we're going to do a photo shoot. So they can see what it takes to get there. Then they see it at a high level. They're like, yeah. But it don't just happen. I think our society today, it's like a microwave society. They think things just happen like magic. So it's important to stress the process. Yeah.
What made you write it?
So I was in Allentown. No, well, let me back up. I even in my drive now, I have a book title. I Fail, I Grow, I Win. I'm like 4 chapters in. So I have content, right? And I did a talk in Allentown. Shouts out to Ron James. He brought me out to Allentown, middle school, high school, give a talk. We left, went to a restaurant after. He said, yo, Murph, where's your book? You booked your business card. I scratched my melon. from that conversation, fellas, I was committed to get that book done. And Wifey had introduced me to 13th and Joan publishing company. And I met with them, but then I just like, I ain't ready. I got back home. I found that email, scheduled consultation, and we was locked in. And I followed the timeline, and then, we just got it out the market. But sometimes, and again, remember, proximity is power. You meet certain people, they're going to push you. You can't hang around ducks and expect to fly high like an eagle. You know what I'm saying? So it's important to put yourself in these situations and scenarios with people that's operating at high level. And Ron probably had like 4 books out. So I'm like, all right, you know what? I got to get the next book out, because what happens is that book translates to speaking engagements based on your book topic. So that's that. He got me, he activated me, and I just started, I ran with it.
Yeah, and one of the books you reference a lot is for agreements, right?
Yeah.
We talk about Don Miguel Ruiz, right? And I read the 5th agreement. The 4 agreements is something that I'm gonna make my niece probably read this weekend. Like, that's just an essential book for me. And the 2nd agreement I heard you talk about, which is my favorite agreement as well, is don't take anything personally. And the way they break it down, of course, like all the connective tissue that they got in there, it makes sense. My question for you is, why do you connect with that agreement so much? And was it ever a time that you didn't?
Yeah, I remember it'd be times where, you text somebody or call somebody, they don't hit you back. You could get in your feelings, you know what I'm saying? But actually, let me back up. So one of my homegirls recommended this book, and I didn't read it, and I was ranting about something. So-and-so acting crazy, and da-da-da. She said, oh, you ain't read the book yet. I was just talking about. Week go by, 2 weeks go by. I was tripping about something. She said, you still ain't read that book? So it forced me to tap into the book. And when I got to it, I immediately made the connection. Because what happens is, say I hit you up, Damon, and you don't hit me back. I might get in my feelings, but Damon may be going through something. It ain't got nothing to do with me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But I started to really, and then I pair that with one of my other favorite books is Never Split the Difference. Chris Voss, former FBI hostage negotiator, he talks about tactical empathy, becoming the person. So, when I pair don't take nothing personal and really like deep understanding of what someone may be going through, I have an elevated thinking. Oh, I'm like, you know what? Cool. I keep it pushing. And it's so freeing. You don't walk around with well, they acting like this because blah. Ain't got nothing to do with me. They'll hit me up when they're ready. So, yeah, straight like that. And so that's how I've been applied it.
Yeah, I actually added Never Split the Difference to my library because I heard you talk about it before. So that's coming up on my reading list too.
Yeah.
One of my last questions for you, I got like 2 more big ones, is what's a break for you, man? You talk about not taking a break. You talk about what's turning it all off. What that look like? Is it a vacation? Is it just time with the kids? Like, what is that?
Well, so we over the years we did Wyndham owners. So wifey be like, we going to Providence today, or we going to Virginia, and I'm like, all right, cool. And I like those because I could like just because like here I'm in the command tower. We I'm locked in, and I've learned we gotta be super intentional with just that time. You know what I'm saying? Phones down, and just like have fun, whether it's outdoors, we go horseback riding, I take the kids to go play golf. So that's kind of it. We're going to Barbados soon. Nice. And I'm excited for that. Taking the kids back there. I feel like Jason Bourne to where it all began. Because I did school out there, and I'm excited to just take them around the island. And so I also like do parties. Shouts out to my man OC Events, Touchdown. We did a party. But I paused all that to pursue the speaking Mr. Motivation venture. So I'm going there as a visitor, like no obligations, just chilling. So that's going to be like a reset. And I feel like I'll probably write a song or 2 out there, staring at them turquoise waters.
Yeah.
Because you gotta shut it down. In my mind, it just never stops. It never stops. And I gotta be super intense because you can't pour from an empty cup. And most of what I'm doing, I'm pouring into people. You know what I'm saying? Like I keep charged up to pour. But what a lot of people don't know, I really like my alone time.
Ooh,
So I get to
I was about to ask you
recharge.
that.
Yeah. Oh, listen, it is just so therapeutic to like I was sitting, even before this, I was just charging up to get ready to come in here and just vibe with y'all. You know what I mean? So that's how I see it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you talked about having your funeral planned out, mapped out.
Yeah.
Are your kids gonna talk
at the funeral?
Uh-huh.
If they want, yeah. I definitely know my daughter got something to say.
What you want her to say?
What do I want her to say? Let me tell you. So that's a good question.
Mm-hmm.
What do I want her to say? What I think what I would love her to just talk about. But see, here's the thing. My funeral ain't a sad thing. I want her to. It's celebratory. You know what I mean? Because her dad ain't leave nothing in this place but footprints and handprints. You know what I'm saying? So I want her to say how much fun we had. Will she miss me? Sure. And I think, I make little videos, but here's the thing. I told her this the other day, and Max, Daddy's, the cycle of life. Daddy's gonna be gone whenever his time's up. But you just gotta press play on any of the motivation music. And I'll be quoting lyrics and it be applicable. She like, Daddy, I know I'm a lot. But I was so intentional, fellas, like to be able to leave something that's gonna outlive me, right? That's just dope to me. You know what I mean? She goes for blueprint. Even when she say she got a song, my dad gave me the game on Collect. Her song's called I Believe. And it's all in the music, like all the lessons, blueprint. Me versus me. Why? Just go press play. Murphy's Law. So Daddy's still here. So just tell the people how much fun we had. You know what I mean? So I really like that question. I don't really get stumped too much. You have me pausing.
Hey, last question, the most asked question on podcast. Where can people find you at, man?
Listen, tap in. I'm on Mr. Motivation, MISTER-motivation.com. You can find me on Instagram, heavy, Mr. Motivation, MISTER Motivation. The O's are 0 for zero excuses. And tap in to Mr. Motivation Music on Spotify, just Mr. Motivation. And definitely, I love to hear. This is man. We spent 2 hours plus together. This has been an amazing time, man. I look forward to connecting with your audience further. And fellas, any way I could be of service, I am here for you.
Yeah, man. Hey, before you go, man, any NFL, NBA, any teams you got out there, man, you want to give a shout out to, man? 49er fan?
No, so, I mean, I just co-owner. Worcester Majors. We out in Worcester, Massachusetts. Semi-pro basketball. First home game, October 26th.
Let's go.
Pull up. I'm looking to recreate that Rucker atmosphere, baby. Let's go. Poppy, what up?
I like it. Hey, man. Hey, from me, though, man. Hey, man, it's been real inspirational, man. Glad you came on. I didn't... We got some little points or whatever, man. But Dumbo did. You see, he did a lot of homework, man. Great job. But hey, man, I got a whole notebook of stuff you done said already tonight. I done wrote down, man. So I'm most definitely gonna do my research and look back on some stuff, man. But this was great, man.
What part of Mississippi you rest at?
I'm from Gulfport, man. Gulfport, Mississippi.
Okay, I used to when my battle buddies had me down in Hattiesburg, hanging out at the tracks.
Yeah, man, I know where Hattiesburg at, man. That's good shit. That's down there, actually, ain't that too far from me, man. Hattiesburg.
I know. That's why I was like, okay.
Yeah, most definitely, man.
Yep.
Hey, Shaun, Mr. Motivation. Hey, thanks for hanging out with us, man. It's dope. I'm probably gonna pass you my number right after this, man. But hey, thanks for vibing with us, man. And
No doubt.
look, best of luck, well wishes, and I'm sure you don't need it because you charging full speed ahead on everything you got going on. One last time, M.O.P for the road. Let's get it.
Let's go. Yeah, bro.